This one? All right, cool. It's recording.
Oh yeah, you know how to do the thing.
Yeah, let me just double check. Don't scan this.
What?
I'm telling them not to scan it. All right, cool. Everyone ready? All right. Well, this is intro to CAD, so it's computer-aided design. Basically, CAD it's mainly used in engineering, architecture, product design, like medical 3D printing. It's a way of using computers to create, modify, analyze, and make designs. So there's a couple of different CAD software out there, and SolidWorks is sort of the industry standard, especially for engineering and stuff. And that's because it's very good at having a lot of different parts and assemblies once you get into more complicated designs. There's also AutoCAD, which is used a lot in architecture. So it's mainly 2D sketches in the middle image there. And then the one that we're using today is Fusion, and it's got a very friendly user interface, and it's very easy to pick up. So that's what I'm trying to teach you guys today. So CAD is very, very powerful. There's many things we can do with it. If you look at this, it's a very complicated design that's all done basically in a CAD software. It's all computerized. And we can get a cross-section of our design to see all the internal working parts. We can also create assemblies and exploded views for manufacturers or to present your designs to everyone. And another important aspect is creating engineering drawings, send off to manufacturers or to other designers so they know how to recreate your design and to give design specifications. And there's also rendering tools within all of these CAD programs that creates a realistic view of your products. This is stress testing is mainly used when you assign materials into your design, and then there's different functions and analysis you can do. There's also thermal simulation. And another interesting function that you have in Fusion is actually being able to design circuit boards within the software. So it's very integrated with this whole thing. There's a lot of different things you can do. As well as generative design, which Kwal will do a session on next week. So this is the agenda for how we're going to teach CAD today. So first I'm going to teach how to orient within the Fusion program. So I'll jump right in. So first, if you guys all want to make a new design, so go to File, make a new design, and you pop up with the tab within the Fusion program. And you can close the last program, and if you made any sketch, or you can save it if you want, but just try and jump on a new program so we're all fresh slate. And the next thing you want to do is you want to save this file right away into a location that you're familiar with. So click save, and then name this as your first CAD session. You create a new folder or create a new project. It's just a way of organization. Yeah, so all you have is correct, yeah, good point. So you basically, its organization structure is there's different projects that you're working on, and within each project you can create new folders. So you can open a big project called Cad I, and then in the folder you can do first project. It doesn't really matter, it's up to your own organization. Just create new project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just get a new one. Yeah, that looked pretty interesting.
Just save it. I don't know. I think that must be mine. Oh, sorry. It's just saying it.
No, yeah,
You have the max. No, yeah, it's a scale one there, so.
Good. Fine.
Yeah.
Thinking whether or not to do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyone having issues?
Yeah, honestly, I have no.
Oh, it's the best part.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I created a project. I never got into this either, like I've never seen this. Yeah,
Yeah, so what we do is.
oh yeah, test it once, it's my project, feels like.
This is not changing version.
That's not even the editing one, that's just viewing one. Yeah. I do the web editing. You could try and find them. Oh, I can't even. Oh my god. They're on the view, they're viewing.
I'm on.
Yeah.
Like creates a photo.
They usually like. Yeah.
Can we go to?
Oh, yes. I think you got to edit.
Do you want me to try one now? And then I'll come back and I'll catch up.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting right now and suffering and catching up later anyway.
Wait, I just.
Cause I can.
Do my laptop, I just
Yeah.
do my laptop, yeah.
I mean.
Extra day one, so extra day. I really made this a big fit.
How close are you, like, are you, will you lose like a whole hour or?
Yeah, 1 hour there and back.
Oh, Jesus. No, that's fine. You go through monkeys, phone. Okay.
Oh my.
This has been a long day.
No, it's alright, I think I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's just, I just, you need, right, it just gets you, that.
Yeah, just really good.
More stress.
Really just, okay. Alright, we'll just see the answers.
Oh,
No, I'm just thinking.
Cool. Right, yeah, moving on. So what you're gonna see in your first screen is browser on the left side. You can click on all the drop-down menus. That's gonna tell you a lot about what's going on. So the first thing we're gonna look at is units in document settings. It's very important that you are using the correct units right now. So we're all gonna be working in millimeters. And why is it important? Because there's obviously metric versus imperial system, and when you're manufacturing things, you don't wanna have it in the wrong unit in the first place. And all the dimensions are wrong. So yeah. Next, we have the origin and axis of your design. You guys can hover over it. It should show you, yeah, you can see the different planes and axes that show up when you hover over it. Nice. And the next thing is planes. And planes are basically the flat surface when you connect two axes. Yeah. On the top right, you're gonna see a view cube. And what that does is you left click it and you can rotate it around, and that's gonna be able to help you move your design around. Top right. Yeah, top right. Everyone want? Yeah. Yeah, you can also left click and then yeah, like that. Yeah. That's one way to maneuver your viewpoint. And now try to click on each cube surface to reach the different ways to do your projects. Yeah, simple. Moving on, every time you're in a flat surface, you can also rotate by the two arrows on the top right. And then follow yeah, and then you rotate them. That's how orient yourselves.
So make sure you're familiar with the view cube because it's a very important tool that we use constantly. So
The one thing I do want to mention again, sorry, is on the left side, there's a little eye icon that's basically toggling on and off whether you can see that object. So you can try toggle on and off your origin and you'll see what happens on the screen. That's the whole design. On the origin.
yeah, more nice than
Yeah. On the origin. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And then you can toggle each individual plane or axis off. And make your designs. Cool. And in the view cube, there's also extra settings that you can do and you can drop down menu. Not too important for now, but just good to have in mind. And then now there's also another way to move your camera perspective in the what's it called, software. So if you want to use your middle mouse button, if you click on the middle mouse button and move around, you're gonna be able to pan and move around the like that. Yeah, do you guys have that? Yeah, so it's hand button. So yeah, if you guys have so those with the mouse, if you shift, if you hold shift and then use your middle mouse button, you can orbit around your and scrolling is zooming in and out of your design. Very intuitive. Oh. So if you guys don't have a mouse, you can individual buttons on the bottom. You can use the pan around. Yeah. So the hand is panning, yeah. And then the one on the left. Yeah, let's orbit. Got it, and then try and see what happens. Yeah.
make sure you get words in there and stuff.
Yeah.
If you accidentally close any of your browsers or anything and it goes missing, you can click view and then reset to default layout, and it should pop back up. On the top left of your, if you hover over, if you're using a Mac, but I don't know.
It's here. I think.
Yeah.
Press here, go down here.
Okay, it's in the blank page.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's in the file page.
Oh, page. So right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, yeah, entrance.
And within the toolbar on the bottom, there's also customizations you can do to your design or like the plane that you're looking at. So you can change the environments to like a black background if it helps you designing something wise.
Gray room.
Yeah.
Gray room is that.
After you mess around with that, we'll reset it back to default.
Oh, start now.
Move on.
What's the nothing? Actually, no, it's a gradient.
You can also get rid of grid in this toolbar, which is useful sometimes if you're, for example, designing something you want an image of it without any of the grid stuff. For example, if you're providing it to a client or something.
You go to grids and snaps and you turn off layout. Oh, yeah.
Yes, correct. Very good.
Alright, reset stadium. I didn't really talk much.
Reset the default.
Origin.
Yeah. So after you change the environment, try and change it back just to the normal, reset back to default. And on the very bottom of the screen, you're gonna see something, well, you won't have anything on it now, but it's something we call parametric timeline, which becomes very important later on when we're designing. So it tracks your design history and what basically you're gonna be able to go back and change sketches and it automatically generates that iteration through to the next design down the line. And you can also group stuff together, which you'll learn more later on. You're not gonna see this on the screen just yet. I'll let you know.
Yeah, he just zoomed out.
Yeah, I'll just skip this, so I'll come back to it.
It is zoomed out.
Oh,
Yeah.
So as we're designing, there's a best practice for you to make sure you name everything as we're going along. So you don't have 100 different sketches that you don't know which one's which. So make everything clear to yourself and also to other designers if they're ever using your file.
Yeah, this is particularly important, like later on when we're trying to debug your design, if you don't name your sketches, we're gonna have no bloody clue like what is actually happening in your design. So do make sure to name your sketches, just have that practice from early on. Because later on, like next week, if you're designing something very complex and you have 100 sketches and you need to go through each one to find exactly the right sketch, it's gonna be an absolute nightmare.
I'll skip this first, not very important. Skip this in the sketches, come back to it. Okay, now, the very basic thing that you're gonna wanna do, everyone is gonna create a sketch. So basically, you click on the top left button. And it's important also right now to understand that all 3D shapes come from 2D sketches. And basically, this is a short exercise, everyone look at the screen. What is the primary sketch? Oh, sorry. What's the primary sketch of how can we make a 3D object from this using a 2D sketch?
Yeah, you should get the cross section and then you just duplicate it backwards.
Yeah, correct. Very good. The section in the front, nice. And what about this? The front third bit. Yeah, nice. What about a sphere? So we sketch something that's rounded. So very similar answer again is another cross section. So you cut it up and it basically becomes a 2D surface as well. And there's some tools that we can use to make spheres later on. Yeah, yes, exactly. Semicircle and revolve. That's gonna you're gonna learn that later on.
Yeah.
What about an AirPod case?
I mean, you have a bunch of different potential cross sections.
Yeah, correct. That's because it's a rounded object. So there is another way that we're gonna use called loft that you can use different lengths as you go along. And what about a Q-tip? Very similar to the revolve. Basically, you're gonna take another cross section. Or you can split it up into different bits if you want, the tip versus the rod. Yeah. Cool. So normally when we create a design, we want to sketch on the XY plane. So that's just normally the easiest way. Yeah. So has everyone clicked sketch and then click the XY plane?
Next one, red and green, that is, just make sure you have something there, yep.
So this is gonna jump you into the sketch sort of menu. And there's gonna be many different options for how to sketch objects. So if you guys wanna just hover over each of the sketch tools. And then you can see. Yeah, you just click sketch and then you click on the XY view.
Right there, top along the buttons.
And then, so I click this and. then
Yeah.
I
Okay,
select-
yeah. So basically what you did just now is you click the plane first. And then you
sorry.
sketch, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
okay.
choose the plane and then sketch, or choose the sketch button and then choose the plane.
Right.
So the most basic sketch tool you're gonna use is a line. And there's basically two things that you can specify with the line. You can specify the length and also the angle from the first point where you click it. Line and see what happens. So, oh, you don't get a sketch. So you jump out of the sketch, when you go to the timeline, left click that. Oh, actually, wait, you are in the sketch, it's just right. Good. How do you click on sketch menu? Yeah. So now you're in the sketch menu, so you can line.
Oh, so.
Then
so-
they also-
so you don't use it.
Yeah. Around.
Yeah.
So you wanna, so for example, right now, you're.
Wow.
Is there download on? So if we put that in staff, so we can listen. Yeah. Maybe that point. So right. Then you click tab. Now you have
Really funny.
And I don't think it doesn't know.
So after you've made the line, there's another function that's very important in sketching that we call construction lines. So construction lines won't affect your actual design. They're just there to give yourself some pointers on where you want to make things. So for example, if you want to make something 20 millimeters to the right, you want to make a construction line and then start your sketch there. Something like that. Moving on. The next very basic sketch tool or important one is circle. So the basic way is you click circle and then you click on a point and it's going to ask you to give it a diameter. And for those that might need a refresher, diameter is the total width of the circle and radius is from the center point to the edge.
Watch it when I make
Another basic tool we use is rectangles.
Go to line type. That's the circle.
And with rectangles, you're gonna click it and it's gonna ask you to enter two values, one for the width and one for the height. Yeah, so sometimes you're gonna run into the problem where you've accidentally moved your viewpoint and it's no longer in an orthographic view where it's flat. So what you're gonna want to do is click on the view cube, move it around, and go back to the surface where you're drawing the sketch. That way you know you're sketching on the plane that you've clicked and it's accurate 2 dimensions.
Go back to that.
Sides of or edit. It's like,
I think it would. Yeah. Sorry. So the next tool we're going to use is spline points. So spline points is more of like a free-form way of sketching. You're going to make different points, and the computer basically automatically generates curves between these points. So you can try using spline points for that. No, just use mobile line. We're going to delete all these sketches later on when we dip into
Too much control.
So try using the spline point tool.
It's to the point.
And notice with each spline point that you've created, there's going to be a green sort of line, and you can move those around to change the curvature to your liking.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
There's something difficult to take one.
oh.
To exit from a spline point, you just want to click on the little tick icon so you can stop drawing using the function.
Yeah, so you would just use that tool.
Thank you.
It just is like. Yeah, it makes.
Oh, that's cool. Now there's a couple of ways you can modify our sketches. So one of these ways is something used very common, it's called offset. So basically it creates a copy off of the sketch that you've drawn to a direction that you choose with a specific distance. So try and sketch something and then use the offset tool to modify your sketch.
On the Gmail.
Yeah.
Negative.
Seeing a lot of artists here.
Everyone.
This is. I think
Thank you. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Offset tool, good.
The original.
you offer
No, I've just offset it, but near the shape, it's not connected to where I thought it was connected. You know,
So the next thing we're gonna learn is super important, it's called dimensioning. So this gives values to your shapes. So you can click on the dimension tool and then click on some edges and see what pops up. Basically, it's gonna ask you to enter a value to give that edge and it's gonna maintain that length.
I have no idea.
Ooh, okay, so for create. Oh, the shortcut is D as well. If you don't see the dimension, you click on create and then. Dimensions don't really work with spline points, so try and use it more on like rectangles, circles, and straight lines. So I'm gonna go into this very briefly today. We're gonna jump more into it on Wednesday. But constraints are ways to give relationships between sketches. That way the computer knows where everything's supposed to go and nothing is loose. But you don't really need to know this too much. So a quick example of a constraint is a tangent. So if you make two lines and you constrain them as a tangent to a circle, then that's going to show up. I think you guys all know what tangent means. Basically runs on the edge of the circle.
okay, now you go to that. Okay, you can choose
In the red section of your menu. So go on the edge. And then click on shirt on. Basically, it's basically done a tangent, but on that. Yeah. So basically it gets to a team. Yeah. Yeah, right like that. And it's still
takes the line to go.
Oh, you need that. And then to go out of any tool that you've clicked, click the escape button.
Yeah, after you create it, it's
So after you click a tool and you want to stop using that tool, you just click escape. So your mouse is just without any slash. Very good. You're gonna make a straight line first.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice, very good, Aaron.
But it's great.
Because when you're designing, you don't know, like sometimes it's like,
Oh, check
you're like,
You're not past it, you're being solid now.
I've had this all about. I've looked in. You know what? It's.
So this part is kind of important, so if everyone listens, just for 30 seconds.
Everyone?
You guys listen very quickly. So the line color matters hugely. Blue color means that your sketch has not been dimensioned. So it means things can move around. So you can try click on the blue lines and see what happens. Black lines means that your sketch has been defined and the computer knows where it's supposed to be. And purple lines, something that we'll learn is projected lines that project geometries from other shapes behind the sketch sort of plane. Yeah.
The other line that I'll talk about is construction, because I'm seeing a lot of construction lines.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have an orange dotted line, that just means you've made a construction line.
Yeah.
Okay, so just click on that line, and then in the sketch palette, there'll be a line type option. And then just unclick that construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see orange lines, you really can't operate with them, so just make sure that you aren't creating this beautiful sketch of orange lines and then realizing that you can't use any of it later.
And blue lines aren't always bad. Sometimes we do want to use blue lines when we're prototyping and moving designs around. We want to be able to move things quickly so we can change up our design. But generally speaking, black lines are, you should have a black line before you extrude or do anything.
Yeah, and it should be shaded blue, okay? So if, for example, you create a closed sketch, so for example, like a rectangle or circle, or whatever you have, right? And you expect it to be close, it should be shaded blue.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's not shaded blue, it means that you miss the point somewhere, and you're gonna try to do 3D stuff and it's not gonna work. Okay, so just make sure if you expect a closed profile, then it's shaded blue.
Easy. What happened to your other?
It's too neat on the side.
All right, so if everyone wants to go back to the basic sketch, you can delete everything that you've made so far. We're gonna try doing some more directed exercises. So try and just delete. Or if you've made something that you want to save, just create a new design.
Create a new design.
You can make a new design. This could be your little save file. Yeah, so it's blue. So
Oh, Andrew did.
So if you want to change your line color from blue to black, basically you need to give it dimension. So you need to dimension it so the computer knows exactly what it's doing. Okay, that brings us to the-
Is that I think?
So basically you can give it a value, so hover over higher that. This is just for yourself.
Rectangle, there,
No, are you serious?
15 by 12.
Now that line is always going to be a factor. So the reason why it's still not, is because it's connected to something else that can like, so quick as stage.
So your files are really great.
Yeah, do you see how it's movable? That's why it's still blue. Because it's not fully defined. So basically, let's clear everything. Let's clear everything and let's try to make a very simple rectangle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a black one. Okay. Like it's whatever.
Using the dimension.
No, it is, that's the revolution thing.
Oh, right, oh, thanks.
Your design should look exactly like that because it's fully dimensioned. We've got both lengths, the length and the width dimensioned in this design. And also I've started at the origin point, so the computer knows exactly where to put this rectangle. If it's still blue, it means you might not have started on the origin points and your rectangle can move around.
You keep in mind the color of the axes as well. So green on the vertical and red on the horizontal.
I tried like moving.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. To click out of anything,
Yeah.
click escape, and you go back to the main.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not on the origin part of that I thought. Yeah, I thought that.
Just delete it and start with the word. That's just a.
Yeah.
Perfect, and enter the value that I put up. It's 15 height and 12 width. Yeah, so.
Like you thought of it. She's locked in, right?
Locked in, locked in. That's all right, we'll teach you how to make it too.
She doesn't want to be too late. She just wants to know this.
That's good. Shaded blue and all the lines are black.
So I'm on something else.
Oh, did you just?
The midpoint and the right.
Yes. Oh, okay, yeah, so zoom out, so
Why is
sometimes you
it-
do wanna include it, and just so you know. I have decided to know exactly. It is flush, yeah, and you can move it around as well. Yeah. Yeah, good, good.
See, you can grab it now.
That might be some trouble.
You want to make one of the settings that you can overall.
Yeah.
Or just control Z. Control Z, all the way back.
It should be good. I think if you hover over it and it shows up on the profile.
I made it new.
Alright, cool. Seeing some rectangles again. Go for it.
Let me know if you want to find later.
All my congratulations back up. The big sheets.
So next exercise is in the same rectangle, can we draw a circle and with everything dimensioned and all the lines are black? So what I've done here is I've made a. So you make a dimension line from two corners. And we want to make a circle right in the middle, right, of this yeah, construction, yeah, what did I say? Construction line on the diagonals. And you want to draw a circle in the middle.
But where is construction?
Where is construction?
So you press line and then you go into sketch palette, which is the menu on the right hand side, and you click construction line. So yeah, you're in that menu.
You can just leave it
Yep,
open.
and then line type.
Yeah, nice.
This one, this
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so what you're gonna notice is it might be difficult to snap your circle into the center. So you can just draw a circle anywhere first.
Yeah.
So draw a circle anywhere on the side with any dimension. Yes.
Yeah, should I put it?
No, you don't need to put it, I'll just try to do that, so just like, enter, so just click. Nice. So has everyone made a circle next to the thing? Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we're gonna want to move that. On the right side, right here. On the left side, yeah, left construction. Oh. Yeah, so you draw a line from, so you want to zoom in so it's easier to, if you want to, yeah. Nice, very good. Nice, yeah, I'll teach you that. So in order to move your circle into the correct position and have it as fully defined, you want to use a midpoint constraint. So on the constraints, there's a midpoint. So basically what that does is you select one thing and you select another and it jumps it to the midpoint of that line. So you're gonna want to jump your circle, the middle of the midpoint of your circle, to the midpoint of the construction line that we've made.
So saying to.
Very good.
Next time, right, circle.
Jump out of the schedule.
With the why did you just try to just like find it?
Yeah, mine don't need too much. You need to just.
So where is the constraint?
That would jump back into the sketch menu. No worries.
You know, which one is it?
Good, very good. Circle, so you click dimension.
Oh, you don't have to.
Yeah, but so you'll need to click two things and then you'll.
When you have two.
And then now, yeah, and then now you.
Yeah.
It's 3 millimeters in diameter.
For what?
The circle's not lining.
Yeah. so you- Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done it correctly, so right now, the midpoint
Make sure it's
shows on the wrong line.
Yeah. It's like the leader and trying to get that good.
And now zoom in. So do you see that triangle? Now that the circle is pretty the triangle is circle. Yeah. Then now.
I'm trying again to.
That's what I said. Yeah, it's also good.
Right, I spent like 10 minutes doing this card. It's good. Yeah, I've got that. This is the side piece.
Oh,
Yes.
Awesome, yeah. It's like. Yeah.
Can't just be in the middle of the space. Oh, I like I created like a slanted donut. Because I oh wait,
Right.
Oh, no, I didn't, sorry. You thought you
Never did.
because if it's not on the origin, even though you've dimensioned the length and the width, the positioning of it can still change.
What?
Sketch.
What in the?
So you can try to sketch
Oh, no, so,
and you notice even if you dimension.
Rick will explain to the class what a red
You
line
can move
is.
but the fact that we started here means that.
You have to make a right angle triangle on an axis, not next to an
Oh,
axis.
yes.
It has to be on an axis.
Like, on the X axis.
Yes, on any surface. It has to be on an
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, it's what there is.
Yeah, red lock, it means that your sketch is usually defines that, but all the lines are black, yeah, it's good, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Red box.
So, after you, finish the sketch. You can click finish,
Finish, okay. I just-
and then what you should see is the red lock on the left side. And that means the sketch is fully defined.
Oh.
Yeah, right, yeah, all dimensions, you know exactly where everything is. Yeah, and all the lines of the are, oh, sorry. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's come already.
No, but just one, right angle.
Well, it's not like that, right?
You got it. Is it solid?
Well,
Yeah, you got
Good model.
I'm really gonna help with that. Dimension might be good.
oh, okay, I see. So you make a different sketch every time you do something. So you want to keep everything in one sketch, yeah. You can just reset, because I think you know how to do it, so just delete all of them,
What was that? You got
whatever one that.
That's a hundred.
Yeah, just.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can click on a new one every time, so you want to make everything on one sketch.
It's like if I'm clicking on top, I'm on top.
Oh, it's not like.
Yeah, oh, this.
Right.
Okay, so there's another little sketch tool called a swap that you can try. So try and click create, and then just try and make this design, basically.
crazy.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I don't.
Level 1 to 10 and 1.
Yeah.
Should be okay, so,
Should be, you know,
just set the origin as your center point. I would-
just think about how you'd make this.
They're not working. Oh, it is really like, all good.
So, after the rectangle exercise, we can click finish sketch. And then we can make a new sketch.
You can also turn off the visibility of your old sketch if it's getting in the way as well. Yeah, so turn off the eye on the left hand side.
Like, how do I get back to the?
It's not too heavy, it's a thingy in the surface. Not sixteen. But you can make.
So if you double click, it means you're gonna jump into the sketch menu. Right now, you're in the sketch menu, it's not this rectangle, so you're gonna.
You offset it by 50 centimeters, I think is what the. Maybe 2 lines. One is the diameter.
You can create it. So those are the, yeah, that's good, that's fine.
Just recall where R stands for radius, and that's the circle with the line through it means that.
You know another way? In other words, yeah, you can offset it. So the reason we use offset, I think you already know.
I didn't really use much of offset.
The reason we use offset is so if we change the throw, we always know it's gonna be much offset.
Did I say?
There's a difference.
I use
The dimension is the same.
You have a read through it.
Oh, it's just lines.
Slot is a function. Slot is just like a center to center slot. Like,
Oh, stop saying this.
Just do it as you're.
Stop saying this yellow.
You can just turn off the whole origin.
And then, so think about how you get that 4 on the outside rather than 16, right? Because that's what the sketch has.
Yeah.
You get the 4. So it's not creating another circle at 16.
oh,
You're locked in, mate. Locked in.
I'm locked in. This is.
We talked about
Yeah,
it
yeah,
before, where you can basically,
Nice,
create another sketch based on the initial sketch.
Anything you can make.
Thanks. Also made a card.
Oh, no. Oh, you made a call. Yep.
Slot is this.
How you got the slots, right? So look at create slot and then go through the options and think about which slot you use.
And then go like that.
One step
Yeah,
away.
You try create it first and then dimension.
Oh, wait, no, that's not.
It's like the same as what I'm making here.
I think it's 3 points. I mean, no, that's half. Yes, you know. Morning goals, that's all. And then
Can I check through these options? I don't know, just recently.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want.
Let me search. I don't know.
Wait, is it possible for this circle to curve inwards? Do you know what I mean? Like, can I make it stay inwards, or is that not a too advanced? It's not the revolve.
And the origin.
What's the correct slot?
I think you can,
Get many and then sketch. And then we'll show you the, basically you're gonna, midline. Yeah, I think it's gonna. But, yeah. Yeah, so there's many different ways we can make a bicycle wall instead of doing this. You would start off with the side.
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yes, it's actually kind of.
I don't have the measurement saying three.
Figured it out.
Yeah, so you just want to, sketch dimension.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then just move on.
The
Oh, so three, if you look at the dimension that I have.
Offset
Yeah.
scope already?
Since
So
the,
that's
since
six.
the floor.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I wanted to get.
Oh, okay, I think it's just a different spot. Same.
So what are you, have you created? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a circle here, then you need to create a circle, that's the score.
You'll walk through that.
I just want a circle. Yeah.
I get that.
Last axis.
Oh, wait, no, actually. So what's that? Erase. So I have to make that three.
Yeah, he's all good. Yes.
Yeah, so I wanna make it 3D.
Kind of slightly. If you have some,
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I would-
On the other axis. Full dimension now.
yeah. So where do you want to
No, that's okay. I've got red lines now.
Yeah, but now you're not on the sketch one. So wait, to orbit
So yeah, that's a good start, create the circles now as well.
and then go back.
So yeah, so there's three circles and then use the offset feature in order to create a larger circle.
I started just.
Offset.
So just, I have to just create a new sketch and then it'll be in this grid line.
Yeah.
Yes,
But turn on your origin so you know where you're sketching.
yes. What?
So
It's fine.
Okay.
So what do you wanna say?
Black, let's see.
That's small, no, it's like, it's a bolt, I've got it in my head. I need to bring it.
Basically, you want to sketch out on this plane there.
Yeah, the front one.
Yes.
Yes,
So you click that.
Yeah.
And then sketch.
yeah,
So now you're sketching on.
yeah. Right.
They just now set coders on it. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you've done yet.
Okay, so you need to dimension the radius.
Oh, dimension, dimension.
Okay.
The next one.
On the blue line. 1.5, that's correct. So just pop it anywhere. You just pop it in. So when that happens, it's just showing you where to put it. So that's all. The reason why this is.
Nice, okay, I think everyone's done.
To delete that. Yeah. Make sure you click escape to get out of the. Like, we can skip. We can skip.
I guess not.
There's some extra exercises, but we won't do them now. We can practice them in your own time, later on, yeah, in the afternoon, come back. to it, maybe. Okay, next thing, extruding. So now we're gonna go into making 3D shapes from things that we've sketched. So extrusion, again, like a good way of understanding it is you're pushing something out from a flat thing.
Didn't realize it was an outfit.
Okay, wait, what did you say?
No, it's a hand, I think.
On the head, that's a
No. That would be so weird. Okay. So basically extruding, you're gonna want to click E and then you'll pop out. So don't do it on the sketch now, so because we're gonna do it on another design which way easier. So basically extruding, it's gonna ask you for a height to extrude your 2D dimension into 3D. That's basically what's gonna happen. And there's a lot of different things that you'll see in the extrusion menu. So you can extrude it as a solid, which means it's one whole body. Or on the right option right here, you're gonna extrude with a wall thickness, which is still one body, but it shells out the middle. And there's a lot of different other things. So you're gonna select which profile you're gonna sketch. So again, profile is the blue shaded sketches that you've made, which means it's closed and it's ready to be extruded. And you can choose where to start. So you can start it on the plane that you sketched, or we can do an offset. So we can set it. We want to start at 5 millimeters higher and start from there and extrude up. And yeah, the last one we don't have to worry too much. And then you got to choose which direction you're going to extrude. So you can extrude in one way. You can extrude in two ways and choose to go 5 millimeters in one way and 1 millimeter in the other. Or you can do it symmetrically and go both ways. And this is all from your sketch. And the extent means how far you're going to extrude. So you can either extrude to a specific distance that you make, or you can choose another object and extrude up to that point. And the last bit is a little bit of body management. So when you extrude, you can create a new body that's going to pop up in your browser. Or sometimes when you're extruding two different things, you might want to join them to simplify the design to make them one whole body.
Yeah, this is a sort of important distinction, but when you create an object, you create a new body every single time. Just make sure that you actually name that body, right? Because otherwise you're going to be confused. It's going to be body 1, body 2, body 3. Then you also see something called components, which are basically folders for bodies. Okay, so when you're doing a complex design, just sort of split something into into logical folders or natural folders, and then keep your bodies in the right components, right? Because that's sort of a critical thing, particularly for more complex designs.
So what if we want to cut an object? So basically, it's actually exactly the same function. It's just extrude, and you just want to extrude into a body that is already there, and it's going to give you the cut function, and you choose the distance that you want. And note here how we created the sketch on this plane. So we didn't create it on the XY plane that we started with, but you can click on this plane and click sketch, and then we made a circle, and then you can extrude into the cube that you've made. That's going to be basically the first exercise. You can either create a new folder or you can reset the sketches you've done. Basically, we're going to make a 2 centimeter cube. Remember, we're working in millimeters, so it's actually 20 millimeters, but make it 20 by 20 by 20 millimeter cube. Yeah, so your dimension, so you want to click. So you're already in the dimension. So click on here,
Cube.
yeah, so in the dimension
Sketch.
So this 1.5 is just a way for the user to view like what the dimension. Yeah. Okay. Over the so what this means is blue thing technically already done. Which naturally like inadvertently.
So create a cube, nice, and then now try and sketch these shapes into the cube. So you can click on sketch. Which button? And then you sketch on that surface, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then try and cut all your blue certain things.
What you can do sometimes.
So you can copy that can
See why it's going like what's not dimension. Why it's it's because this plot line right here.
So you can press one button. Button. Is that what you want, or you want to leave it? Okay, so then we'll click on the
You do not in the 3D or sketch.
sketch. Click on pieces.
Which one? Yeah, that means the diamond.
And so you put those shapes down in the cube, obviously.
You know what, change the angle of the hole that we create. Or is it all-
Yeah, there you go. So you can
As
see
in,
top there.
So right now, all the holes are going up. Like say I wanted to change the angle, I can change the size.
So let's move on to
and
the
location. but
2 centimeter cube, everyone?
Oh, we forgot.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, okay.
What able to make that?
And you make
Good.
up basically.
Now, after you've done that, practice moving your design around, and on each surface of the cube, just create a design of your choice and choose to either extrude or cut it into the cube.
And for a challenge, maybe you can make the love heart.
Or impress us and make any
Yeah, make
other
whatever you
objects
think.
that.
Something else. How's the sketch going? Yeah, try it like negative, positive, see what happens. When you have two negative, see how, so that's positive too about it? Was that-
Yeah, it'll extrude everything else as well.
So cut out just sort of.
Yeah, it's too much. If there's anything there, it'll extrude. Yeah. So if it's over there, then-
Yeah, pulls there, yeah, then try negative instead.
So start with.
Extrude. And negative to this time, and we'll see how it will cut into, oh, negative. It'll cut into the.
So that's a question.
How do you get it to be midpoint?
Yeah, so I sent this to here.
Yeah.
This one, I went down.
So one thing is you can, for example, set a, if you create there and then origin. Create a point. Oh, yep. You
So did you
point
sketch on the correct
right,
line?
center there, right?
Double check.
And then, I don't know, this is where you might use
Yeah,
construction,
you're sketching on
like,
the-
you know.
Yeah, I was on the
Yeah,
construction done.
Point there, or.
So after
you're gonna be.
so for example, you move it around, right, but now you want to go back into this line. So we want to make it.
Because I can't do this.
Yeah, you can't do that and
Can't
expect it to be in the center.
So now we're sure that, and then you also rotate, depending on.
Or this one.
You can try it, see.
Just to make sure that we're looking at where we're sketching is flat. You can't sketch when it's like.
It wasn't working out.
You can also check, that, so that's a 2-point rectangle, you can also maybe create a midpoint rectangle, see, right?
Wait, how are you making your love heart?
Rectangle,
So,
set a rectangle like that, yeah, so you can create it.
yeah, and then I have all that, how to do the spline tools, then we use them today. Oh, okay. And then just throw it.
Especially when you treat it connection with the surface of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not gonna help.
Yeah.
You have a create cube?
Oh, yeah, I can create you. I have that.
Okay.
Wait, so did you use the spline? Okay.
Good, great question.
How do you make
Yeah.
that?
Intuitive question, okay. So
You just have to make it the way you want it.
It's a mirror, right? Basically, you created.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct, and then you can see if you can make it negative, like indent into the, yeah, negative, so you indent, or you cut, right?
Yeah, you could with it.
This actually.
I think it's a hard,
That was mirror.
When you're half done.
Yes. Very nice. You want to draw the middle. You can make access work to. No worries. Yeah, good. So you. When you start. You listening it now?
Yeah, it was like us, it was like going to the right.
You cut it? Okay. So let's see if you're.
Circle.
That's good. You can change it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is what you've done, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, do you see in this design,
So fusion's parametric.
you've drawn the,
I know it's ugly.
starting here, and you're like,
Yeah, you made a lot of points, that's fine. I just had like three.
It's really bad, but how can I connect this to the client's side?
Oh, you probably made it.
Draw.
Right.
I think I draw on the. That way it's easier for you to. So do you see how right now you can put 14 in order to actually? You draw the 10 millimeters, you 3 Right. So you wanna redo that, so let's figure out, I should know. But for the main thing, sketch, plane, yeah, so you wanted to sketch it on this plane, yeah, onto that, so.
Consider it a spline.
Let's see what, yeah.
Consider it a spline.
Oh.
That will change.
So the height is.
And so we're just talking on the other table, right? You can also make one half and then use.
Yeah. Wait.
And this is divided. No, that's fine. Figure it out.
Yeah. Really? Yeah.
So you can toggle on and off your sketches. See.
Once you like dig it in, it feels better. And then you can-
Yeah, so if you're not using the sketch, just delete it, because then we know exactly where we're.
And then you're gonna make a smiley face. I like it.
Okay, we'll just leave this as is for now. Try and sketch it on the side.
Parts are easy, make a smiley face or whatever.
That's fine, yeah, it's because it's extruded to like a bigger distance. But now just try to do it on the side. Yeah, try to do it as circles. See if it's the same color. So you don't need to go into the view right.
Every other.
Right now you want to see where it is.
Oh my god, it's so hard, it's not working.
Automatically jumps to.
I don't know why that would be in there, you know?
Well, now we're sketching, now we know we're sketching on this.
It's like, make sure you click on the cube, not the plane zone, like the plane of the cube. So you send it, yeah, okay, yeah.
Let's say.
Because we're editing it. But basically, after this, you want to rename this right side, maybe rectangle or circle, whatever you're doing.
It will do so.
So after you consider.
So with the-
I think we're like it.
Oh, I think
It's another right.
Oh, I see.
See what happens. Throw it out, that's actually.
Tangent.
It's like whenever you really do that.
It's not working out.
So you click on, yeah, so right now, we're not on the menu right now. So we're at that normal.
So the sketch is on the other side.
We can see that.
Yeah.
Then now, okay, now it's doing it correctly.
Any questions? You going okay?
That's what it's supposed to look like. I'm not sure why that one was.
It's one way, so.
It's something.
But yeah, just try that on different surfaces. Try different shapes as well. It's like an extruded. More. And yeah, command's easy. So make sure, you wanna make sure that you set the profile. Yeah, shaded area. Because that's what you're extruding, that's what we're
Sketch.
choosing.
So once you finish the sketch, just operate between 2D and 3D, make sure that you exit out of your sketch, yeah? Press finish sketch in order to extrude.
Yeah. So right now you can't see what you're doing because you're in the same plane. So but I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's- yeah, that makes sense.
probably what you want, but like, for example, I just think about the extrude, but.
Cool.
When you're parametric, that's what you're. Just how you section.
Yeah, just cut through, yeah, okay, good to know, right? Yeah. Can you see through the square?
Right now you can't see.
Oh, yeah, you can.
There you go. Nice. Now you.
I'm going to-
I can't find my.
So you don't stay on the same plane, especially when you're extruding. You wanna know exactly what you're talking
All right. Everyone's got it, yeah.
Also, what do you make? Like,
Oh,
extrusion, kind of body.
Only on a sketch on that side. So it's-
But when you make the.
Oh,
it's one,
you fold it out.
it does make it.
Oh, that's squares.
How did you do that with a heart? Oh, it's like you. Oh, and then you can use it. Wait, okay. Oh, shit. Wait, what's next?
Do you know what they split it? I didn't know too.
So from this blue line, you can try and see what problem.
Actually, that's not hard.
Hey, look at this, I locked in, right, we're locked in. Actually, no, you'll probably
So, blue
start.
line, try and see what's.
What is this? This is not.
That's fine.
And she's all church, and all like, oh, close down, pen, don't worry. But I'm gonna use some of the things you know.
So, I'm quickly show you.
Well, what are you doing? What are you trying to do?
I thought.
You don't like the other.
Mirror function, which I'll go into.
A whole.
That's not
Okay.
I thought if I draw a heart, I could highlight it and it would create a heart through the ball. Instead, it's just.
Hard for a ball, mate, it's trying to eat your.
Try lengthening again.
It's gonna be on mirror.
So click on this extrude.
Dimension.
Extrude, yeah, click on that. So you can modify, yeah.
Wunderbar.
I'll try and You just say.
Amazing.
Right, if for example, you've extruded once already, and you want to modify that extrude, go to the parametric timeline and click on the extrude and you can modify what you did. Okay, so that's particularly useful. You should go down to the parametric timeline and then see if you can remodify one of your old extrusions. Double click on it, yep, just double click, you have to double click and the menu comes up. Yeah, like that, and then you can modify it. Yeah. So you can modify what you've done previously, which is very useful design tool, because you're like, it's like counts back then, right, yeah.
It like never goes in. No. Okay, I'm, yes.
So see if you can modify one of your extrusions, just double click on it. You know this, double click on your extrusion.
Yeah.
So it's still later when you're designing, you may modify something. Like ages ago.
Yes, so I have this sketch.
That's what I said.
We want those pieces. So you first get yeah. So you can do, yeah, but it's too late now.
And what you're seeing was parameter wireless. It's very good. You make very nice.
Well,
I want to move it onto the ball.
So.
I thought.
now you can also modify your old sketches, okay? You just click on the sketch that's associated to that shape. You can re-modify that sketch and it will extrude the new shape.
Which sketch?
Okay.
So it's this one. Yeah. You can modify it.
Yeah.
And it'll naturally update everything. That's how we can, and then you can have it timeline to yeah, no.
Wait, how? I'll push it, wait, so what would I do here?
So you made all steps.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
just.
sketch. Yeah, and then.
We'll come back.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Do you want to talk about shiny clothes or you want to? Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, this worked out. Thank you.
Alright guys, we're gonna go to lunch, so please come back at 1:30. And then we'll continue some of these exercises and move on to some of the later stuff as well.
Don't leave us something.
Yeah, one later stuff, yeah.
I don't know if I say it like that.
Excuse me, I'm the only one with a bowl with a heart in it right now.
You're very tight. Ready?
I'll pause the recording.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Stop. Very cool.
Cool.
All right, cool. Welcome back, everyone. The next little thing we're gonna do is look at construction plans. So basically, construction plans are a way for us to sketch at different levels. So what if we don't want to sketch on the XY plane to start? Or what if we don't want to sketch on top of our cube on that exact plane? What we do is we make a construction plan. And what that does is create a plane that is a separate distance from your desired location. And there's like lots of different ways you can do it. So hover over the construction menu. Or the plane, yeah, it's called construction. Yeah, it's called construct on the top right. Right there. And the task I want you guys to do is wait, let me skip this a little. So can we create a floating cube that is 1 centimeter above our current cube? So what you guys need to do is basically make a construction plane, yeah, and choose the top of your cube, and then offset it.
It's like it's attached. I don't even find it.
So it's one. So yeah.
My bad. It's just issue after issue. It's like, it's the fact that it moves.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone made a construction plane. Yeah, that's correct. That's good, very good.
I was trying to make a spear.
So,
So, one centimeter. So, this is one. So you can go to your requirement. And then edit that. So, and I can change it, yeah.
the exact same people we use.
Good, construction plane, 10. Centimeters above everyone, good. And a little tip is,
Yeah, just make a new cube.
with
That's
the
fine.
construction plane you made, you can actually drag out the edges to make it bigger. So you can choose like how you want to view your construction plane, you can make it bigger or smaller, which is useful later on.
Do you want to sketch or yeah?
I also don't know.
Everyone has a cube, with construction plane, one side.
Like what?
So that control plane is affected, that was the whole plane.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll teach you how to do that later on. Good try though, that's probably how I would do it without.
$3 million. Like it's name.
3 millimeters?
I'm sorry.
Wait, 3 millimeters?
Oh, actually, no, sorry. 1 millimeter.
Yeah, 3 millimeters,
Sorry,
but look,
it's-
they don't know how to project it, so. Just don't get it wrong. Just to get it off first.
Sketch on top of that construction plane.
Yeah.
So draw a sketch on top of that construction plane and draw another cube.
Yeah. And basically, can you guys draw a cube that is exactly 3 millimeters bigger than the previous one? If you guys think of a tool that would be useful to do that, what would be good? Yeah, offset, right, guys? Offset would be very good to make a 3 millimeter bigger cube, right? But what you guys will run into is that you can't offset the cube below. You won't be able to do that right now in the sketch. What you're gonna need to do is something called a project command. So if you click P on your, if you're sketching on the construction plane right now, you click P and then you click on the cube below. That will automatically project all of the geometries and sketches up to your construction plane that you're sketching on right now.
Any questions on that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's. Yes. Okay.
So you create a construction plane and you project a shape onto that construction plane.
Yeah.
You create a new sketch, right?
You're projecting from the cube below up into your
Yes,
construction
yeah.
plane. Okay, so you're 3 mils from the bottom.
Yeah.
That's, okay, wait, so what do I need to make this task? Okay.
Been a long time.
No, so we, it depends, right, so we want to actually do. Yeah, that way if we go back and then you change the original cube, like, dimensions, then automatically the top one will be 3 more. So if I make the bottom one like 50, it'll be 53.
But before that, they have this fine side.
Yeah.
Oh, inside is fine, yeah. Yeah, oh,
Yeah, so.
it doesn't really matter, because later on, when you extrude, you can just choose both. So I can set that now, and you can set, I just close.
Okay.
Alright, now it's on the primary time. You have to go back and then go into that. So that's it. Oh, like right click on the phone. Edit this feature. Go change it to. I think you're really. Oh, why don't you use just
So, yeah.
Oh, it was like 20 millimeter, guys. Oh. It's all good, you can change it out, yeah, everything's unique. Yes, and that's the power of it. We should all be able to scale up that.
By like.
About this one.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Offset, good, and then.
So you don't need to want to see that with ruler, so.
Offset fee created.
Yeah, and then just do it by.
So right now, we go back to what we've done. Right, made it offset there. Because it's product.
Yeah, so now, take a look, it's just.
So you wish to make another.
Any questions?
So now that we have the overview, right? Then we click to create some meeting.
Now you can actually.
Okay, yeah. So we can.
If it's difficult to get the offset right on the construction plane, you can toggle off your body, so you can look at what you're sketching much easier. So learn to toggle on and off different functions. Now you're offset. You're upside down.
Yeah, but you know why it's above the plane?
Oh, okay.
So you want to do it now?
We did make your.
Yeah, so often during design, you
Wait,
need
so what's
like.
the actual?
For
I actually make a.
projected onto a sketch, yeah, continuous, or even if you're having two parts that are separate, you don't have the exact same ways. Like you're in on the other side.
Oh, you manually made it.
That's how you do that, right? Yeah. So see if you can extrude that now, so.
Is that supposed to be?
So actually,
Oh,
before
I
I go
see, I
back
know
into
why.
the sketch, sorry,
So when you extrude it,
went to.
no, you're fine. You extrude it.
Parametric time, and then,
So you show that.
and then offset that by 3 millimeters. Pretty cool. offset. And then you have to go.
Yeah, sorry. That's not bad. No, that's my fault.
And then by 3.
So you I just selected what's.
Yeah, you just.
Yep, and then finish that. And now extrude that profile.
So always, if you're methodically going out.
Yeah, finish. Yeah. So always an option.
Now we want to.
Yeah, so
But I'm trying another.
Yeah, but just. Now we're trying to.
So that's this is like.
Yeah, these.
Leave the cube
Yeah,
like
and
20.
then so what's the
Where
project?
is it? 21.2 hours.
And then I want to select.
Pretty cool, yeah. Oh, no, offset straight lines should be 23.
Yeah, so you should be extruding 23 millimeters up as well, so make the cube 0.9.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah, and if you
No, yeah, so it's cube.
yeah, sorry.
So you. So it makes it look.
You have the body. So we're gonna it's like if we don't start doing
No.
I guess you would.
oh, okay. Okay.
What, like,
Long sketches now. What do we call it? Yeah, so if it's like, yeah, David.
Oh, so it's more about just getting the right projects. Lights.
Yours on like wide.
Thank you. Wait, so does it matter projecting to other? And I should project it the same. But I want to-
Alright, for a challenge, see if you can connect the left part, did you create it or some shape you created to another sort of offset?
That's
Fine,
fine.
right, so see if you can create that. And also play around with the construct type, so there's lots of different options for construct. Just go through all those options and make sure you actually understand all the different potential options and when you can think about what you'd actually use it.
That extruding was weird.
Yeah. If you want to extrude 23 millimeter.
Nice, that's good.
I'm putting one.
Why just not?
Go back to your sketch. The sketch with the like sort of cube on top. You can select the on your Yeah, try this one.
It's like,
Oh.
like,
So you want to understand.
I ended up.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because we want to make it, we want to make it, we want to make it 3 millimeter bigger.
What do we want it again?
So offset that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then.
Select the edge. Yeah. And then 3, the other way, yes. So. Yeah, so -3. Yeah, put a show you. Yeah, good. Nice, now we've got a closed profile, it's shaded blue.
Yeah.
And then, so finish the sketch. And then go back to your extrude function. Yeah. Going 3 is one layer. Now you want to select also the profile, so remember to use shift to move around, so yeah, there we go. We're gonna select that one, and also the middle hole.
So if you're done with the task, just take a look at the
Now
other
it's
construct options.
23
They're
minutes.
just useful to sort of have at the back of your mind, particularly when you're designing stuff. Just think about when you'd actually use
Very
different
good.
types of constructs.
Okay, we'll picture that, yeah.
I didn't have the original cube, I made a call.
Everything didn't work.
She's involved in that, right? Involved in it.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't offset
So
it.
you can make the copy bigger than
I'm
that.
retrying this.
No, this, so we offset the plane. So this is the plane with sketches. And that's 5 millimeters. So we're just correcting it. And then now we just get. So you want to make it look great. 23 millimeters. Yeah, because we're adding 3 to each edge. So maybe 3 off the board.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you accidentally done 26, so just change.
I mean, forward. Up a.
Oh, in your extrude, sorry. In your parameter.
As in if I project.
No, in the extrude. So the most recent one. Oh,
Is there a way to project up with? Oh, okay.
That's how you go back.
They're for me to try. I'm not ready that shit.
You guys good? All good? And then here as well. Yeah, you can hover over the.
Yeah,
the sort of details.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can also,
All the way.
in circumstances, move this, like rotate it, so that it's on and up, and then you can project it onto that cube.
All the dimensions are incorrect, so I'm moving, so I can't project it onto Z axis.
You can only do that one. This.
Points.
Yeah. It's
So it's just like some examples of useful ways to use construction planes. This example right here is a construction plane at an angle on an axis. So you select a line and you can choose the construction plane that you want to create. And obviously from that, you can offset it to a certain distance as well if you want to go further away. Another good one is midplane. So if you want to select between 2 faces and it'll create a construction plane in the middle. This might be useful later on when we want to get a cross section of some areas or whatnot. And there's also construction axes that we're going to use, especially for revolve later on. That might be useful. And construction axes between 2 points. Yeah, and one more thing is the construction planes that you've created will show up on your browser on the left side. So you can toggle that on and off as well, if you don't want to see it anymore, or if you need it to come back and to know exactly where you're sketching and whatnot. On this. So anyone have ideas on how to create this structure on top of our big cube one? How do we do this? The most direct way is probably to just sketch 9 circles, right? And then just dimension all of them.
Yeah.
Or if you guys have figured out, you can also pattern sketches as well. But that's not the way that we want to teach you. We want to teach you a way called patterning, rectangular patterning in the solid model feature. So what this means is you only need to create 1 sketch, and one extrude function. And after that, we can pattern this solid body that we've created into a pattern. And this is a lot better because it simplifies our sketches and it's much easier to change up the design rather than doing it each individual circle during the sketch. So can you guys try and follow these instructions? We're gonna make a 4. Sorry, there we go. 4 diameter circle. That is 4 millimeters from each side. To the circle, to the center point of the circle. Of the top cube. So make sure you're sketching on the correct plane as well.
25 by 25. 25 by
Finish the
25.
sketch and then do that, or we sketch?
Yeah.
It's a 25 by 25 square as well.
Okay, well, mine is not.
Oh wait, no, 23.
It's got 23.
23, yeah, 23.
What is
On the bigger cube.
I'll just use the mine now.
And we'll just say you can do it anytime. Just that.
Anyway, are we going too long?
Yeah.
Oh, so do we create a new plane to do these?
So you don't have to
Yes.
think about dimensioning right away. So you can just make a circle and then do that
Right.
afterwards. Sometimes it's easier that way. Because you can't position it perfectly.
The way you can do it.
Make sure you're sketching on the top plane.
Oh.
Put in the top or.
Yeah, so now you can now you're already through in the sketch menu of something else. You're doing something. So right now you see the yellow thing, we don't want to see that because it's kind of like messing with our skin. So just turn it on.
As an art, what dimensions is an art?
Yeah, so
Oh, that's so this is not a sketch.
well, it is that this is the lines there on the skin.
I have, you should really see this in 3D. It's not the same measurement as that, so I need to do everything. Is there a lot of math?
No, there isn't. It's just patterning. It doesn't really matter.
No, it's like, I just
Like, there's still a
follow those measurements.
It's fine. Just do your own one.
Yeah.
It's about 23 by 23 by 23.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mine's like 7.1.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's fine.
No, this is like the third. Yeah.
2 lines.
Oh, are you still practicing the offset?
No, I was just trying to create a new plane to place the.
The sketch, the circular sketch. We don't need to create a new plane because we're sketching on the body of the cube. Yeah, you can do it on the top surface.
We are extruding it or.
So yeah, we're gonna extrude this. But I think not to. And then help each other out as well. Like if you're just.
Oh no, competition, bro, competition.
Nice, very good.
Like 2.
Oh,
No, we can just pattern it right now. So.
true by you.
What? 2 look so big, bro.
You can figure it out if you like. You can find
Oh, I would love to figure it out.
So you don't need to select the power first, so just.
So see if you can find passion.
It's called rectangle. It's like this. I have to get it.
Oh, you need to choose axis. You need to choose which direction. You want to choose that one and that one. Or
So there's not be like.
Do it twice.
Be like mine.
No. Yeah, it'll follow the path that you choose, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, see how like.
It's good. Goes everyone sort of up to the steps? Following along?
Maybe we can try
Yeah.
Good, so you need it that much. So. Exactly. And then now the next step. So extrude it into, turn it into a little knob at the top. So finish the sketch.
And then you kind of circle.
And then now
Can you go back to the last slide?
Yeah.
So go there, see it's like
4 by 4 by 4.
4 by 4, which was on the corner here, right? What you do is you place the lights.
That's
And you create this is just so you know what it's for. So you also. Yeah, that's yeah, you do create. Maybe in this case, just. Yeah. I think so. And then extrude that part. Yeah, see that.
Yeah, good.
No,
Just thermal objects. extrude it.
Oh, wow.
Do you know how I can get rid of, I found rectangular pattern, but it's got a pattern stuff.
Yeah, so, okay. You click object type.
Oh,
See how
oh, that's one.
it chooses just the thing that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. You need to do the construction.
Nice.
Do another line. So core construction lines are like, it's just a line. It's
You can play around with it. So there's this one here, it's distribution. So you either do spacing, so
Yeah.
or you can do it to the extent.
Take like.
I think it's axis, yeah, pretty sure it's axis. Actually, wait, is it the center? Oh, it'll be the center of the circle. To the center of the last one. And that's the distance that you want to the center.
Yeah, so. Center point, so you have to place it precisely at the center line.
Look how amazing that was.
Interesting.
Yes.
Why'd you shoot it so high?
I didn't realize that everyone's was big. I thought that everyone was 5 millimeters.
Oh. Oh, why did you extrude two different? Okay, you know you can extrude, you can select two circles, right? It's like that. You need to extrude one. I don't wanna.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing is, I made the big one, the small one, and then I realized.
So you
I wanted
prefer to
it
have done
out.
it first up.
So then I just.
Yeah, and then finish your stuff. Get out of the stuff. No, you're sort of-
It's just that, you know.
Yeah, the one on the right.
So you can see. through there.
Yeah,
So you selected shapes.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And then.
Alright, after you've extruded it, next step is to try to use the rectangular pattern command. So make sure you're on the solid model tab and you don't have any sketches open or anything.
Yeah, like that.
And then on the create,
And then here, please gonna show how to pattern.
top left, create, not all of
So see if you can do the pattern.
create a pattern and then make rectangular pattern.
Whoa.
And you notice that you can't select the knob directly. You'll need to change the object type to features rather than objects. That way it can select the feature of the extrusion that you've created.
And then.
Oh, yeah, sorry, and then you pick the axes that you want to pattern it on, so you want to select the top two or just the Y axis. And then choose the rectangular pattern.
So you can, yeah, go back to your project now. Yeah, the reliable way, it's just to, you see how there's an axis there, right? One is this. Yeah, so you can also.
Yeah, she's going to the wrong direction. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, it'll just go negative. Obviously, best practice, because I'm recommend everything. So what you can do is you click the axis. So you drag that piece like that.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And then just select that one and that.
That's 16, right? Yeah.
That's okay.
The axis should be like the line.
What the fuck? It's just like. You just.
Okay.
Your top.
It's not easy. Well,
Whatever works.
I know what I did. I know what I did.
Oh,
Give you copy of it.
I personally think that's nuts.
That's it.
Okay, CJ?
Too easy. I know I did some all time.
You can also pull it out of, so you can see what it looks like this, yeah. Yeah.
You can just.
Nice. Okay. How you going, Adam?
Something outside.
Then axes. Oh, sorry, I select. You know that this is the X and Y axis, so
that's And then maybe drag it to your desired length. No, that's all.
okay.
Yes. Okay, so what you've done is the pattern that. And it's, yeah, so you can change that back actually. You can go back to your, either your extrude function or your. Because that is joint.
Oh, it didn't work, okay.
Okay, that's fair.
What are you trying to look
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you know that.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
When it's-
The way it's constructed.
What do you see?
But now I shouldn't.
Let's say that once, maybe you should try to put it like that.
Oh, so this doesn't matter, you can group it. So just group all the.
Alright, if you're done with that, try thinking about how you make a circular pattern instead.
You just use the same thing, but.
I'll say you can do a circular pattern instead.
But make sure
So you can.
you don't create a new body next time with extrude, then it's hard to go back.
Yeah, so you select it.
But it really depends on your use
And then
case.
you go-
Sometimes you do want hand bodies that you can individually change.
Like good.
You might also have a chance.
Maybe this circle, wait,
And then now you can start.
Great, so this is the result that you should end up with, something like this. Depending on how you choose the spacing, it might look a little bit different. So next, what if we want to create something like this? Circular pattern, good. And the hint is the blue, the light blue axis that I've created. You want to make something like this on another edge.
That was good.
Bring it on the other surface. Try and make something like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's on a different side.
It's the same thing, you want to make a circle, dimension, I haven't dimensioned this one, so.
So when you press OK.
Oh, so we just make
Close
it.
it out.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Can we, can I like do this flush out to this point?
No, yes.
Wait,
You choose it, like,
Yeah, you need to make a new sketch on the side of the.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Like, wait.
Does that look like?
Yeah, probably not, so I just go back anyway.
Yeah, so it's better just.
Yeah.
Gauge bang.
Oh, wait, now it's not.
Same thing, just we get out the.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make a circle. And now you, like the circle that you want to follow is on that next.
Yeah.
Just make one circle. Oh, nice.
So it's probably, doesn't matter where we put it.
No, not
Oh,
really.
you're- yeah.
Probably it's straight along.
which is like what every
Yeah,
summer.
that's what I was doing, but if your axis completely,
But
it's not a problem that.
Do they have shit for that?
Because if you click on the axis.
Oh, I would finish.
I mean, yeah, you have to use the.
Oh, great. That's so easy. Do you know why that happens? Okay.
Yeah. You see why it's like later on it's important to name. So I'm gonna do it usually for doing the line.
The line in the midpoint?
Yeah.
I don't know, I was just double checking. It's the same thing, yeah, if you do the construction line and then make a point on the midpoint, it's probably more accurate, but doesn't really matter. But just make sure you did your axis. How did you make it construction? Okay.
You can also grab this.
Yeah, should be correct. I don't know, I tried to use that, but every time selected, it doesn't match into the one point, so I have to make 2
So
points.
try making a circular pattern instead.
Oh, I have to do that, I have to do that. It doesn't know which purpose.
Yeah,
to do it.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, I think your way works, but I did it that way. So I just made on the other side, so then I made sure it was like straight. Cause I tried to do that, but it didn't work on mine, but I think yours is.
How do I change this?
So when you select that.
Yeah, but I don't know if it registers that if it's smart enough to register the surface. The plane, right? Oh, yeah, the plane as well, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's smarter than my way.
So like a, put one of the.
So in order to make the axis that you're rotating,
Press with,
Your
press
hand
stop
on.
this.
can you guys try and make a construction axis in the middle?
Yeah, that works, but then you select that, you're saying one goes through the middle.
Yeah, we did, I read that.
I can't move it, I would just like literally create.
So you've got the right idea that you want this through,
Yeah.
but you need to go through. Or.
Yeah. I wouldn't stress it.
Wait, so you just
It's
wanna
harder
look
to
at
move stuff than just like.
Okay.
Right down. Or go to a different service.
structures.
Yeah, nice. Actually, sorry, hold on, sketch on it first.
And then how do I make something right through?
So then we used to construct a new office in that plane.
Sketch.
Do a lot of counting.
So what can you get?
Yeah. It's
Oh, no, it's in mid-line, mid-line.
But you want to make it remember how it revolves around one door.
Yeah, they want it to be. Like, very different.
Yeah, I think it's like you can create mid-plane, but then you order per shape, right, like that gives you a lot of what's gonna revolve around.
Yeah, first be one line.
Yeah, these two lines.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, so it's, yeah, how did that one work? Because it's too far out. Yeah, so you have to. It's like through circles or something. Yeah. See how like. Yeah. We didn't.
Oh, like the dotted one? Yeah, so.
See which one comes out. Yeah, you know, like the second line.
Draw line in.
And now.
And then if you wanna make it undotted, you literally click on the line and then undo.
Trees, yeah, it's not trees for you. Yeah, you can just peel it off. Remember, it's a circle.
So maybe,
Yeah.
for this dimension.
So you just want to. You didn't make the construction. Yeah.
I mean, it's like cars.
So then okay.
I've got myself confused. I
So
did,
like that.
but I think it's like.
So you want to
I'll just start.
Oh.
But I-
So you can first. Yeah, you can try. So you just. You play that? Yeah. So the one that you
It's like, that's like the part where I need to like just.
But just maybe when you get fire. So go back to this sketch, so go back.
I think.
Yes, that's why I love that. You can do four, you can put it four and four more. And then what you want as well is like. Yeah, I think so. Also, extrude that. You gotta like.
Yeah, you get that.
Yeah. You know about it. Oh, that's cool. Really good.
Second time.
Oh, you're doing the entire.
Oh,
How's that possible?
Oh, you can get computer as well, man. You're breaking a computer as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You start dealing with computers.
So, like, it looks like.
Why is it?
No, just escape.
Oh, you made.
Oh, I don't know.
The only thing I've learned Whereas it's breaking your computer.
Ah,
That's the only thing.
Is that how it's?
Access.
What you mean?
Well, that's problems.
Why you do it?
So you remember that.
Trying to make the
This is the next challenge.
See how we have-
Wait.
We'll go through.
Oh, okay.
Lego, yeah.
Entrance. Yeah. We finish it. What time do we finish?
Wait, how
So you see how you try to a circle to.
It should be good.
Actually, that's a good game, both.
Yeah. Because I try to do it and it's not.
Sketch.
Guys, have you already done it and you got some spare time, rename all your schedules and bodies as you're going along, make sure everything's clean. Just double check that it's all clean and.
Yeah, you get You gotta rest that.
Okay, that's good.
Cool.
Some reason my second is.
There you go.
All right.
Guys, have a look at this. This is a engineering drawing, sort of standard. And I'm gonna go through just how to read something like this. So reading drawings. So why do we need to use engineering drawings? It's a clear depiction of our product to give to manufacturers and to transfer to other designers as well. And it's also can be used as a legal documentation when you apply for patents or whatever. Yeah. So what can we see? There's something called AA is like a cross section we can see. So if you look at here, we've got the AA symbol going across the cube. Got Lego brick, sorry. And that shows the cross section right here. So AA depicts the somewhere else in the diagram, you'll see the cross section, which line is like cutting across. Yeah. And also the scaling on the blueprint is for when it's printed out on like a physical paper. So you don't need to double any of your dimensions. The dimensions that are written in the engineering drawing should be specific to the final product. Also, it's best practice to not dimension when you're not in orthographic view. So make sure everything is in planar view when you're dimensioning your products. And also try and keep all the dimensions simple and clear, and don't over dimension your design. And dimensions are off to the side of your object. And larger dimensions should be on the outside of smaller ones, just so it's easier to read. And there's something else that you might see in more advanced sort of diagrams is something called tolerancing. So tolerancing is basically like plus minus of the line of the distance of the line. And why it's important is when we start fitting two different parts together, we need to think about maximum and minimum tolerances.
We'll go a bit more about it in a second. How to actually.
Yeah.
Because it's very consistent.
I think so. So here's just a little exercise on X. Let's discuss with each other what is the tolerance on X, the plus and minus. Plus 0.7 and minus 0.0. We did back up the pluses. That's the worst case. That should be plus 6. The one so good. So you need to stack up the pluses. So plus 7 and the minus. There's no tolerance on the bottom one. So it's just minus 2. It's not too important for now, but yeah. All right, next, just have a look at this and just try and give it a go. And you can discuss with each other how you approach building, like which step do you build first? Do you build the biggest brick first, or do you build the cylinders first? You can choose. So yeah, have discussions, have a think.
You build the biggest brick, that's right.
No, isn't the big one is? Oh no.
It's a very wrong phrase, it's cool.
Yeah.
3 and 4, right? Or playing
This one kind of. Someone took my SD card out while printing. Yeah, that's what's one that is. I think it's two dimensions. Well, and we did this two dimensions. Like this, you use these dimensions.
Yeah, same dimensions.
It's weird, I think you.
So you can ignore the some infills.
Yeah.
You can ignore those.
Ignore the.
No, this one.
Those are just.
This one.
Don't worry
Yeah,
about
so
it.
we just.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to show you the. Yeah, just follow the dimensions on the screen right now. You can't take a photo if it's easier. Or...
Only 1.8.
Yeah, try and help each other discuss how you.
Yeah, so try and make this yourself.
Yeah.
Work together as well.
And create a new file. I'll clean this up in 30 seconds.
And let's try and keep this very clean, guys. Let's do this and
Yeah, good design practices, yeah?
use best practice. Name everything.
Yeah, and make sure to discuss in your groups how you'd approach it. What would come first? What would come second? What would come third, right? If you try and do the cylinders first, for example, you're gonna have a really hard time.
Same.
Long day, yeah. No.
I tried it out.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
And then like extrude. Well, yeah, you're
You
right.
make the exterior and then make the cylinders parts.
What I'm trying to think is, yeah, just make a rectangle, extrude it up and then extrude the shrimp, yeah, but that's not so. Yeah, no, it would work, so you make the rectangle, and then you put the things on top, that way, yeah, and then you clear it out, and then you draw the cylinders, yeah.
You might do, you do that, the offset thing. Like make it the width of the outside box. And I'm actually, that's what's blocking.
Little circles.
But also,
So you can have those three big circles, and then those.
the TV?
yeah.
Oh.
Those are the outlines of the apron from the top.
They snap. They're not that big. But- So do we have to create those little holes as well?
Those little holes don't have any dots. But actually, they do.
That's what do you know the little holes?
These ones? Yeah, you need to make these as well.
They make everything.
No, not the three, like the tiny ones.
The little edge.
This,
Yeah,
yes.
Like these edges and these ones, yes.
Yes.
Oh, and the edges.
Because it's dimension here, so they give you the dimension, so you should be able to do it.
There's the 0.2 notches.
Yeah, and not just they give you, it's 0.2.
No, that's right,
But worry about that thing, but absolute loss. in the near end.
Correct? That's correct.
No, you got that.
You can extrude it.
Anything
Like
top.
extruding is a legitimate option to do that.
Where's
No,
the-
you can make this whole, guys, everything is extruding cut in this. You can make this one just extruding cut.
Yeah.
Because we haven't taught you guys anything else. It's all extruding cut. It's all- we can use anything else, it's all extruding the cut.
Yeah.
It's not an objective rotation.
Okay. Alright.
You can use, yeah.
I mean, you just.
And if I. Yeah. No, you can't show it.
I'm gonna extrude that with the.
Yeah.
One of these circles here.
Which
One of these circles here.
So then.
Oh, no, of the inside of these.
Oh, it's inside.
So it's the rate, so it gives you the rate, yeah, you have 2.6, so it's basically cutting 2.6 from the top now.
Yeah.
It needs to like slide it.
Yes, I say.
Not easy, but.
Let's take some time.
Live work on reaction, yeah.
Just start trying your hand in it, you don't think it.
But I had a mouse and I was like, wow.
That's what I was asking you. But it wouldn't. It would have been one.
It had a,
31.8.
It's better to do center.
Or you're gonna make. No, because the square one has it.
You have all the.
Yeah, you have all-
Yeah.
I've got the initial thing, like, on that.
Nice, looking good, looking good.
Yeah. That's just rectangles.
Good, it's good. You're on the right track, you're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Actually, true.
Yeah, good dimension. Remember, if you've got blue lines, you're probably missing some dimensions on it.
Yes.
We're gonna have.
Should be there. So-
You do an offset, sketch sideways, and then.
I was one like to start with, on the top photo, top, top image, top two. Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean, which is like that, 1.2.
Oh, wait, okay.
Wait,
36.9.
Or
We gotta do all that. Yeah, we do, we can push every week.
number zero,
isn't it?
word was straight compensate.
Wait. Oh,
Easy, you reckon? What way?
Actually,
Over, under.
What about I'm just crazy?
how far in are these? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh. That's probably why.
This one is 1.9.
The one that, yeah, you probably don't like it. Yeah,
Right.
this one is way more. Actually, the one, two, one, so you can, probably you can change the.
shelled a bit too much there initially.
New spacing, that way, it's also like, use the dimension of the space. And then,
Okay.
it'll be very good.
Good work.
And then you know it's 4 and 2 on each axis.
Okay, sketch my circle, right? So my protrusion circle.
For those at the rectangular pattern stage, well, I just gave it away, but like, the pattern stage in the top bit, you can use the difference, you can, instead of extent of the distribution, you can use spacing. And then you can use the dimensions given, so 8 and 8, that way you can create the spacing, and then you know it's 4 and 2.
Yeah.
So it should all work out very nicely.
Hopefully your rectangles be enough.
I think the top of the triangle.
Yeah, until you made the base, right? Or else it just fell off.
With the stuff down here, because I realized that hole needs to go to the part above it as well, so I want to.
You can just cut it again, you can extrude it again.
Like extrude.
Is there a way to just move this sketch before the extrusion?
Oh, you can, yes, you can. So you just need to make a new sketch, because it's currently like on it.
Because they've got this sketch on there.
Yeah, so cancel. Just make a random
Is this
sketch.
just in
And then you
2D model,
So just finish sketch. Or just create a sketch, so there's something else on the time.
double model?
Like anywhere, yeah.
I'm trying.
And then now you should be able to match the previous. Or finish the sketch.
Yeah, you got. Okay, there's a lot.
And then now you. Yeah. That's really, yeah, that's really intuitive. That's like. And then you can use it again, right? Like.
Or I just
But you
go,
wanna be careful, you don't do that too much.
Yeah.
It's not breaking the design. So.
yeah, I would just extrude.
But when it works, it's pretty beautiful, because it's like, damn, it saves so much.
These are.
Oh, these ones on the right side.
How do you get top?
Inside of these.
On the top.
Martinez.
And you look at the cross section, you see the whole arms on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the whole arms.
Easy, right?
I don't get that top.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I'm gonna stop like.
But that's what I-
It's fine.
You can have to talk to it.
I've had a couple.
So you bring sketch like like.
Oh, you screwed it. Oh.
But you wanna make sure that you're doing it in the right thickness.
Which is.
So how high do you need it?
The grip. So this was 2.8.
And how tall is it? Is that?
Extrusions are 9.6 according to the
Yeah.
top right.
Yeah. So then when you make that.
Does anyone know what
Eight
this
straight back
is?
down.
Not how much.
By the thickness, one, right? One, yeah, one, one.
Oh, the point two?
Okay.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I should go up, should do.
But it's also like little.
You do the precision plan, right?
Yeah, I'll back on it.
Oh, let's do one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay. That's fine, that's fine.
Not to do a confession plan or?
No.
Ah,
Yeah, many ways.
Maybe
There's many ways.
Point two.
That would just be an extra body, but.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
On
this
Okay,
one.
I'm
I actually don't know. No, I'll figure it out.
Ah, okay, so the
Just like what we spoke about.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just use.
Oh, that one. We just did that.
Use the top plane.
No, I didn't.
Yes. So yeah, well, you can use these also.
It's like when I make a line, right? I just figure out all the way. And you should both ways, right? You
Yeah.
should look down and look across.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but it's like you're taking a smaller reduce. Yes, later, later. No, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do that later. I'll let you get on to it. No, you can try forging it. Okay, it's just this.
Full screen, so you can use up the whole thing. Oh, make it bigger, please. It's not alright. There we go. I thought Windows like that. That's good.
Sorry. I was just something. These, because I was thinking I could just make birthday and offset it. It was like.
Do that? Yeah, you can.
Oh, shit.
I'll try this. See what happens.
You wanna project, sorry, you wanna offset this?
Oh, because you have what's happening.
Way from the edge.
And you know that.
Yes, yeah, no.
Oh, this guy. Hey guys, what would you channel? What do you call it?
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you're on the bottom. So. You're gonna sketch them.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just we'll see you guys.
Yeah. This was the thing. Okay, but really.
Ow, fine.
So you gotta do many good sketches.
Yeah.
You should have. Okay, so now you got it.
Yeah.
You know how.
There you go.
You know how to do this space on the end?
Mine is what. And then you can cut everything in.
That's fine. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna make sure.
Oh, I just want to overlay.
Axes.
So I want to.
And then the other edge. So let's talk. You got have you got a small one?
Or if you can remember the dimensions, you can just half the dimension and dimension it halfway.
Oh, you mean lengthwise, I see what you mean, no, never mind.
Okay.
So you're doing two at the same time.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar.
Busy dates.
I would just make
You can charge, yeah.
Oh.
It's good.
Oh, good, good. Cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think so. First.
Okay, how? Oh, wait, you're so right.
Very nice. Then on the top now, what about the model?
But that's my mistake.
Lawrence, okay.
Yeah.
So get this. Yeah. you need that.
Like, you offset it by. Oh, no. Because I think that we're on the outside. Oh, different way to be, yeah, that's.
We did.
But it's not learning, it's not like radical teaching. It's a journey, you're a journey.
That's where the one starts.
Ah, this is offsetting is gonna be a problem, not the offsetting the next day.
Now, crazy stuff that you think that,
Well, it's different if you think, I think on, that would be 1.2, you're ready to
Oh, we need
1.3 minus
1.7 at the top.
I mean, no, no. It's not one like that.
I don't
Yeah. So it's.
Oh,
so that's
one bill. So that 9.6
It's
minus.
9.6 minus 1.2, which is 8.4. Negative. Girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
You know, like this.
Yep, that works.
But 6.3 is going here, what else should we get up when it's?
Get through it.
Yeah,
Fun.
9.61 is the one.
Okay, and then I reckon.
Ah,
I haven't-
Oh, it's not cut.
Yeah,
Change it to cut.
That's just 6.3.
Yeah.
Sorry, 9.6. Minus 1 minus. The 9.3 minus 7.
So next we have to
2, yeah.
get this in. So can we draw this on the plane of this? Yes, and then we might have to read it to the pattern. You mean?
Oh, yeah, that's 8.3.
Yeah.
8.3. 8.3 is the magic
No,
number,
no, no, no,
guys.
see, I'm working on this. Yeah, this part, yes. I reckon we draw this shape.
I'm quantifying this, and this is 6.3, so whatever this is, they add.
9.6 minus 1 minus 1.
We need to
8.6.
like, so we need to create a plane that's on
You're
the
not able.
1.7 down. Yeah, like 1.7 below this, and then we go down. Yes, this is so annoying.
Yeah, so here. Take one.
Okay, and then make your redo the.
Wow, Rick, you did it? Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
PD ring. No, not like that.
Big ass circle.
Yeah. What is the cutout? This thing?
Should I do the 3 big circles or should I do the line in the middle?
One
We're gonna do the circle stuff. And then remember you can use the.
I do it. So how'd you get that? Use the-
I offset it in with.
What
the
about-
pattern.
That's right.
Seven down. I need to start the.
Okay, so go.
Oh, wait, yeah, that's, oh no, oh, it's like 1.7. Yeah, so it's like, okay, this whole thing is 1.8. Yes. Oh, no, that is, it starts, wait, that's not, I did that. So there's only 0.1 millimeters of
Yeah,
like solid,
so-
oh, no, so it's meant to be cut,
I
okay, wait,
missed it
so.
before, but I
So this is 1.8, it's 1.7 including 1.2, so this is 0.5, so this is 1.8.
In the sketch. You know, the body.
Is there?
Yes, if you need others.
That looks better.
Yeah.
So the cylinder distance is 1.8.
That's how you make sure that.
The distance
You can
from
delete the circle
like,
if it's not right.
the bottom of
And then
this
just start again.
part, which is 1.2 down. Right. To where we need to cut is 1.7. Yeah. Because it's 1.2 down, 1.7 minus 1.2 is 0.5.
Why does yours look so cool?
Minus 0.5.
Oh, I was making all my lines, figuring out 3.6.
No, I mean like you design, like you.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so. You
Just, yeah.
you can't just like.
It's a display thing, right?
No, you can't delete it, you cannot draw surfaces.
And then we have to design on this side. Yeah.
Used to be 4.8, now it's 2.6.
I don't get it's not being constructed.
Don't forget that you can
That
project,
Yeah.
so you're saying,
I don't get it's not being constructed.
now on the outside, you have 8 circles, right? It might be useful to
That's
project
solid,
that
yeah.
8
That should be
back to your sketch now, right? Like that way.
Yeah, I think we can, we just gotta ask us some help.
You give it to. Let's go do it.
When we first create one, check that it works.
You get to like.
4.8, bro. it's 4.8.
Which
We actually had.
Like two, we have that.
Well, we can offset again.
Yeah. Well, you don't have figures. If you only cost person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One is for enough.
And the biggest sort of size one. It's different, yeah, it's different. Oh, it's how it's supposed to be.
Yep, yep, yep.
So enjoy that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm asking,
It is tricky. Like, you
No.
can't-
Because there's nothing on that plane. Where did my plane go? I can't even see it right now. Where's the?
Never mind.
so nice.
So the radius is actually 1.3 and
Yeah.
What's the most into?
Yeah, so I think it's actually, So what I do actually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like.
It's kind of not. I think the pattern will be
Well,
My neighbor was sketches, right?
We're trying to recreate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think with this, you might want to start with the lower one, and then add it left and right. Or you can. It's the center point, right? It's with the 8.
In the base.
Well, that's probably that match, but it is. Yeah, probably.
Now,
I think you started the circle. Started the circle.
I don't know what you did. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Okay, so we got the sketch, right? That's fine, so the sketch library. Sketch library.
It's the middle of this.
Oh.
I'm trying to. Yeah, now it's.
Oh, okay.
Control Z, the extrude, right?
I feel like I just-
I guess so, finish the sketch. Yeah. Then read it back to that one. So, yeah, and then,
in sketch.
yeah. And then. So you get. So you're actually deleting your old block. It means that you've got you initially have the wrong part.
we went on with it, but farm bullshit.
And then.
So you can get offset.
Yeah, offset it,
Is it?
yeah.
Let's fix the height.
No.
The height is 1 is too short, right?
Oh, what's the video of that?
Yeah. There you go. Okay, then now try that.
Now when it created the pattern. And just slip it.
Yeah.
Going okay? What is that?
So I made it in way that like sort of put down from into extruded back.
Actually, what back up? What are you
Oh,
trying
I'm
to do right now?
circling
Okay, you're trying to pull out the.
Yeah, yeah, like I think it's pattern.
Okay, yep, okay. Can I see?
Yes.
See what I said? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just see.
This is- yeah.
Wait, what?
You have to see
Okay.
things.
Are you confident that you're on the set? Let's see your check. You don't know? Yeah, are you like, okay, so.
It's like at the level where that.
Yeah, you're sure the maths works out? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Now it's like.
So now what you need to do is you need to do a sketch.
Yeah,
of that
so and.
So that you can draw out. Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because these inner circles here are smaller than the larger circles, right? So you need to draw the inner circles. But one way you can do that is to project the initial sketch you had. And the circles are here. So this might, that would be some complex ways to do that. So that's like this, yeah. So you only do one circle and then extrude or cut, and then repeat the cut with
I've got a real quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm doing that.
If it's 3.9 centimeters to the right. Well, if 3.9, looking at that line.
Yes, okay, 3.9, yep.
It's got like that little thing.
Yeah, that's correct.
0.5.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Thank you.
I got it, Harish? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, how do you do that? Yeah, yeah, what were you thinking?
If I just make circles offset and then. I get them into.
So you have to have a construction plan first, right? You've already got the construction plan?
I did it because I did 8.6.
Okay, yeah. So create a construction plan, so you need to do construct.
I'm wondering like with this one.
Yep.
Actually, I probably would have to create one. I was thinking like, I got like, this is all one. I was thinking like project backwards. What are you gonna follow that?
Wait, hold on, sorry,
So I have, this is like. I was thinking like, if I could get like a pattern.
Yes, you can.
Oh,
You do it for one
so
first, and then use patterns.
Oh,
So would that work without me having to?
You don't need that.
You still need a construction plan, because if you look at the
Oh my
inside
God,
here,
okay.
there's still like a.
Hey,
The bottom of that.
Oh my God. Down here. No,
So this, what I'm saying is this part here is, you see how you previously drew a construction plan.
I've also done on the normal plan and project, extruded it, maybe up.
Yeah.
So we decided to go here. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's slightly
Wait, so
different.
is it not possible?
Yeah. So you need to have that construction plan process, and then exactly the conditions that you have. And keep in mind that these inner circles here are smaller than the larger circles.
Yes.
See, I swear, if I didn't have any computer issues, I'd be an absolute jet. Okay, now how far do we want? Oh, I'm figuring that out now. That's, I think.
Okay.
It's 1.7 plus.
Okay, yeah. So another way, keep in mind, we were saying before, is that you should do one column first, so cut out one column first. And then extend the pattern to the other ones. That way it just allows you to have a.
But it doesn't even matter, 1.7.
Yeah, and you don't have to duplicate it. No, you just use pattern. Oh, yeah, right, so just do it for
Yeah,
one.
and then
figure out how to
that,
hollow
if we
out
did it
one
right,
of
that should
those
just.
columns, then you can
Oh,
repeat
yeah,
it.
I just needed you.
Do we turn it upside down? Yeah, can you see it?
Okay, that's one way to do it. Is that-
Yeah.
You did it
So he's-
Oh, shit.
I was just getting to show it, I think it still works,
That's
if
why-
it does it correctly, it's
Yeah.
fine. 15 more steps.
Yeah.
But it's fine, if you get it, you get it.
What's the distance?
Yeah, so think about Johanna, just like, what's the easiest way? I feel like a lazy way, right? What's the laziest way you can do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
So take experience.
Yeah.
It's another object.
You know the spacing.
The other one, keep
Is it that top left? Oh my lordy, man.
Okay, like this, everything goes. to shit.
And then.
The little small circle.
Yeah.
No, okay. Give me, okay.
Okay, now we're back.
Wait, so go into.
Taking a look at this one.
Yes.
You're asking how deep it goes?
We're actually moving.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Oh, the bottom, these ones. The columns or the small circles?
Yeah, nice.
Small circles there, so these correspond to this cutout.
That's so good.
Oh.
Okay, what do you want to do next? Sit up.
No, not quite. 1 centimeter
Yeah.
is this distance, this.
Notch time? What do you mean the slither ones?
It's in
Oh,
that-
no,
it's in
they're
that-
not
I
like.
think it's mine is actually.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Oh, maybe we should.
It's
Means set
just,
cylinder.
just 1.7.
It just doesn't go all the way down. Do you think how it meets it? Yes, so if we trace that knot, yeah, 3 center cylinder, and then do the knot.
Oh, you know, 6.3 is this one.
Where is this one?
Yeah, so like,
You thought have you done the outside?
on the outside, you have this.
Yeah.
Inside is a cutout.
You got that all the.
See the little cutout?
Oh, is this something right?
So you wanna leave the one.
It's a small circle.
Locked in, right, locked in. Sounds good, yeah. Locked in.
Yeah.
Okay. Think better than me. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one. Yeah, because they don't know.
I wanna.
Yeah.
A square.
I think I would.
Okay.
Like, would it be
They are just reading.
I'm starting it here, I'm starting like this,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be 6.5.
Okay, so.
Yeah. Thing is, I created my thing and I.
You turn a brand or something? Yeah.
Maybe.
I've got the. Also, we need a big. How, what's the station's name?
And.
Yeah, so you know nothing.
My type body is one thing. It's just not the original. I don't have bodies, I have body.
So confused right now, all the dimensions are correct.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Okay, so we just need to make it in the center, right? Yes. So I made it.
Really know where this is.
That is maybe very straightforward. I'm going to approach it.
Yes. Oh, wait, we need to kind of, we need a pattern.
So, where's this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, the pattern is just 3. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Do you mind presenting? You don't need to redo it. Control like how much time it's still back on, and then so on to each one. Yeah. I'll give everyone like 2, 3.
What's the depth of the fucking hole?
Come down.
Yeah.
Deleted it.
How far?
Yeah. And then up from all the profiles upwards.
Like, how do I make sure it's in the right place?
We'll see how people go.
Yeah, I'm doing the.
Press B.
That's fine. Yeah, except why they go.
Is there still like?
Yeah.
Outside dimension is 6.51.
Oh, you guys are so close, so close.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay, now we can extrude it.
So that's you.
Yeah.
No, how far away? Oh, girl, I did 2 diagonal lines. Oh, cut them, and then I put it into the
Because
center.
Wednesday exercise was.
Yeah.
And we can just run very decent. Sure.
Okay. Spot the middle is good, okay.
Oh, time, yeah.
So probably another 5-10 minutes, guys. We also might go a little bit later today, just because there's a lot to teach after this as well.
And then same thing here.
But then you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, the small circle is the one. The small circle is actually the cutout of the point.
So you.
One of them, everything's strange, yeah.
Yeah, where is it?
It's not enough. It's not enough, but it's one Lego.
Show you the cut is.
I got the question.
And
I got the thing. I need a 1 millimeter down. In a circle, 1 millimeter down. I gotta do that. It's like a 20. I don't know if this is or not. So, it's probably circle. So, yeah, I mean, it's just got shitting down one letter. It's one page.
For example.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1.7 into the.
And then start, so instead of from profile plane, you can do offset. Yeah, and then they just get careful about directions.
So you want-
Maybe one and one.
How deep's the hole?
Are they just, no, 6.3, or they just find it?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was one. No way. But it was like, just like.
Nice.
Good.
9.6, they go to the very bottom. Wait, are they 9.6? Oh, that's cool. Oh, wait. a minute. Are they still just watching?
Yeah, that's why. If you want to.
Oh, let me do that. I think it might be minus, oh yeah, it's minus 1.2, so 8.4. That should be exactly, so you can't. And then if you go, you should see it, and then it should be like this.
You're always making
Yeah, the small one.
Just I mentioned it anyways. It might be like.
Yeah, we're doing it now. I think you got it.
1.7.
Yeah.
It might be like my
I think it's
Ended up pretty good.
this is.
So there's like circles inside.
Per layer. Or 1 millimeter layer.
Maybe there's like this. This is actually.
What's
Just really. Do that.
How do I?
Like do that. I can do
Yeah,
this.
that's a good idea.
See like. No, it's
Yeah, like
You're kind of far up there. Nice thing on the street.
But then they're essentially at the same spot.
Yeah.
So if you.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly where you.
Yeah, I just made that down. Okay, still not
Yeah, just making it smaller to.
I mean, you could pretty much extrude.
Yes.
Why one not also duplicate this
Ah.
8 times and follow them all up.
So duplicate feature, same one.
Yeah, I did it around this way.
And you need to just extrude first.
And now,
You can.
how the fuck do I replicate that?
Yeah, oh, okay, so then we just.
Well, actually, no, it's like, it's like.
You can passion that across.
Yeah, that's fine.
1 millimeter.
I don't agree.
Seriously, 1 millimeter.
I don't agree.
So you can-
So like during the whole thing.
Now, pattern it.
Right.
Yeah, you got a picture of the.
0.001. That's just my math.
Very nice.
It's not.
Very good.
Because that creates a whole thing.
So you got that circle there, and then you.
When you repeat like this for.
No, you can kind of cross it, and you select it all at once.
Okay,
Like, is this, like, do you have a sketch? Or do you ideally you should have a sketch, but you can kind of cross it.
yeah, I like should have that one.
Yeah.
And I can.
That's the thing, they don't include the cache. That's why, yeah, you probably want to put it into. Put it up to the knob that you pay for.
Wait, do the 6 one and then do the whole in the 6 one and then.
Yeah.
That might be easier, yeah, so then.
Okay, let's start up now.
Yeah. Sure, that's a-
Okay, do you want to share with us how you do this? Yeah.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need just.
Yes.
Real quick.
Something.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, I know what you
Sorry, this is.
Oh, yeah.
Alright guys, so Nephin is just gonna show us how he did it, because he did it particularly fast. So we'd love to hear from him about how he did like different features of it. So Nephin, over to you.
Should be still working. Just plug the HDMI.
Yeah, just the
Yeah,
HDMI.
just-
Oh, sorry. Right, what was the last one? Yeah, should be good.
Oh, that's.
So I setting up. Mirror. Are we making that? It's good. It's good, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
You can see that?
Yeah, we can see.
Alright, so just rolling back to the start. I just started off by just creating the block at the bottom, just the rectangular prism. And then because it needed to cut out the bottom underneath it, followed up with that.
Did you use an offset?
Did I just can't remember.
Yeah, well,
probably-
probably use an offset for that.
Yeah.
Because it's 1.2, we all know the thickness.
Yeah. And then from there, I created the blocks, the circle or the cylinder on the top. And then used a pattern to create the rest of the 8. And then because they all had kind of like a like a cut inside each of them, I then created like a circle underneath it. And then again, use the same pattern to get all 8 of those. And the next part I did was I just created the cylinder and then extruded that out. And then again, a pattern for that as well. And then kind of those parts on either side of the cylinder, again, just extruding all from that kind of face on the inside here. And then the final thing was to create those little small kind of divots on the inside of the block. And this was kind of just sketching each one of them and then mirroring it across to get all of them. It didn't let me like pattern them, I think, but yeah, that's how I did it.
Did you name all your sneakers?
Not yet.
You can get away with not naming stuff when we do like sort of something simple, but as you get more complicated, it's a little bit better. Because we're still simple, like we don't do components and stuff. All right, let's move on to this.
All right, if you'd like to, we'll release the slides afterwards and so you can complete it at home as well. If you'd like to, just sort of finish off your design, but we're gonna move on because there's still quite a lot of functions left to learn.
Cool, there's extra practice for you guys when you need to. Okay, well, this was supposed to be done before lunch, but. First session, you guys made a Rubik's Cube, pat on the back, very, sorry, not Rubik's Cube, Lego brick. Pat on the back, great job. Jumping straight in. These are just a couple of other tools that you can use in the solid modeling features. So what if you want to make a circular shape? How would you sketch that? And what would we do? So basically we would make a cross section, right? And then you get one side, and then we use a function we call revolve, and it looks exactly like this. So we've made a sketch profile and it's highlighted in blue, and we know it's ready to become a 3D body. And then we select an axis and then it'll rotate around it. And these are just the key things that you need to do when you are revolving. Selecting the profile, selecting the axis. And when should we use extrude versus revolve? So for rectangular objects, we can use extrude, and when it's cylindrical, use revolve. Basically, it's just intuitive to how you do it. And obviously, you can actually try it, and if you make a mistake, just do the other one as well. Yeah. It's normally the best way, actually, just try it. All right, just a quick exercise. You can start a new design off Lego brick. Save it. Everyone save it first. Make sure you don't lose all the progress. And then you can close it once it's saved.
So just get into the habit of creating a new design every time you want to create something. Otherwise, you're gonna stack like a Lego brick in the bars and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nightmarish.
All right, so now think about which plane we're going to create this sketch on to make a 3D shape that we can view in our Fusion 360 nicely. So you wouldn't want to sketch on the XY plane anymore, right? Because then when you revolve, it's going to be like going into the ground. So you want to sketch on the ZX or ZY, yeah, ZX, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it's probably what we want to sketch. And try and copy this design if you can. I've used construction line set 20 millimeters off of the center point of the origin. And then I've made a 5 millimeter diameter circle, and I've set a tangent constraints. And I've made spline points, 3 of them, to connect up to the circle. And a little pro tip is in the spline points, remember I said that these teal or green ones, you can change the what's called angle of like the curve. To make it a more realistic geometry, you can set vertical constraints that I've done here to make it realistic to how it would look as a cut. At the end, you want it to be like vertical. No, because then I can control this and I can make it the shape. Oh, no, it's a singular, it's spinning. Yeah. So is everyone able to create this shape? Yeah, so for those who haven't brought a mouse today, try and get one by Wednesday. It'll make your life way easier.
God knows.
You leave on tomorrow.
Tomorrow or week?
Oh, no.
Already.
I think not. Not just like outside.
Yeah. I can show more. Yeah. Well, they can just finish off the line. Anything. Great, has anyone made this sketch? Sketch.
I'm still.
Yeah, that's correct.
But it's really funky.
Yeah, you already made
How many
it.
points do you use?
So last point.
Or 2?
Well, yeah, just 2 or 1.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
2,
the
it's just the
black one.
origin and the
Oh, I see, I did that.
other black.
I did.
Oh, no, then there's a third. one.
Yeah, this is
fine. It won't really matter.
Yeah, I see.
And notice how here I've deliberately set everything to blue lines, so I haven't made extra dimensions or anything, because I want to be able to change it later on when I revolve. You guys will see. It's pretty fun to play around with if you
Oh, that's not good.
You just draw a different one. Yeah. That way you can make cool shapes. Yeah. No, I know. Oh, no, it's because you're not in the middle. It's that way, right? It doesn't matter. All good.
But as long as you get sort of 2 sides and circle, if you're happy. Yep, that's it.
Doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah, doesn't matter like how nice it is or how accurate it is.
Can we change that later?
You can change it later, yeah. That's okay. That's all. Okay, yeah.
No,
Whatever makes you happy.
no.
You okay as well?
Just trying to make it material. I think, wait, did it matter when we put those black?
No, those ones are not.
Yeah, so.
Right now, you're still like whatever you like, you're still. So, yeah.
But now.
Oh, what? How do you do that?
Do I need to unlock that, right?
I made it 5. Oh, you made it 5 already? Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, they want it.
Yeah. I know why.
I think. That's a bit of David. Oh.
Wait, what did you change?
I need a tangent. This is between. Yeah, so I always just do between the 2 lines, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, this one needs to be vertically constrained.
Not on the server.
On the circle, yeah. I'm on-
Yeah, it's just we didn't see it before.
So
because you were
this is
not-
so right now.
Oh.
Right now, when we change this,
Yeah.
we're changing the curvature of it.
So this is the absolute, so if you type it,
We want to make this like a geometry.
so you know how like you make a circle, you type it in fly off.
Yeah.
And then you like it takes it fine, but when you find it's fine, but you have to get.
Oh, that's what you-
So you need to always define what it's.
I get that. Now the edit, that's it. So you make that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Wait, hold on, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, just use the one.
Okay, yeah.
Surprisingly, that's what they do. It's just like- Thinking for that.
It's just 2.0.
Yeah, so you can all finish up the sketch, so exit out of the sketch menu.
The finished sketch.
Finish the sketch. We're gonna move into the solid modeling. So basically you click the revolve tool in the solid modeling tab. And then now you want to choose your sketch profile. So you want to choose both the circle and the bit underneath. Or you can try click one of them and see what happens.
So make sure your profile is a closed profile, meaning it's shaded blue. If it's not shaded blue, you haven't completed the profile, right? The profile's still open. Yeah.
Or you must make it revolve.
Also, you click on the
Yeah.
profile, which is not closed.
Oh,
Yeah, so you need to click, so go back to the search. I think it's not complete.
Yeah, we can do that, sure.
Use tangent of these days. Okay, do that. Awesome.
Go back to the-
Go back to the sketch.
There's one.
Circle.
Right, so for example.
Oh, we can edit it in real time.
Yep, and then the other one, other side. So just hover over it. It's still
Yeah,
blue,
yeah,
actually.
you see how it's curving into.
You see how like this.
You can't, so go back to your sketch.
Does anybody get this? White and that's fine.
Wait, which one's the-
So say, yeah, your circle changes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay.
I would recommend the white one just while you're starting, so you get used to it, you can see the shade blue, right? But then just go back to your sketch and you need to make it so that this also
Yeah,
is
yeah.
also shaded. Yeah.
Is it no here?
It could be that at the origin.
It looks fine.
Check that out, it's fine. Yeah. just-
Cool, is everyone able to make it? So once you've made it, you can play around with your sketch, having the body on.
Yeah.
And you're gonna notice that it basically changes up the body right away. So just click on the slide one. No, don't wait, it's made. You move that up.
Try not to click on the
So
circle.
you want to turn your sketch back on?
Yeah.
So go to
Oh, otherwise. I'll see here.
Yeah.
You know, it's. So then you use.
Now drag your
Yeah,
slide.
just. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Drag it around.
Yeah, from there. Oh, it's gonna be one randomly in the middle, yeah, and then touching the circle. Oh, is it? I put it at, like, so, touch, not tangent the circle, so it touches the circle. Oh.
So I don't actually.
Yeah, and then you'll tangent it in a second.
Don't mind
Okay, so you think of the circle, no, the circle, with your mouth, yes. No, on the edge of the circle, okay, alright.
It's just like that spine line.
Yeah, no, and then just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
beneath this line.
no, and then do another line.
Yep, just
Yeah,
the
nice. Same
recreating
thing,
one.
just on the
Yeah,
other edge,
actually.
yeah.
So you guys go back into the parametric timeline and edit the revolve function. You can notice that you can actually change what degrees you want to revolve the component. So you can have more control over what you're doing.
Yeah, that's fine. Just create a straight line. That's actually.
Well,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's like, you just got to.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so you see that shaded blue now? Nice cut. And then the whole.
Yeah.
If that brings up, yes. Well, like an acorn. It's like an acorn.
Oh, wait, sorry, click on horizontal vertical.
Very nice.
And I want you guys to notice that if you play around with the shapes in an unrealistic way, for example, here, I've made this middle bit cut into itself. The computer won't be able to revolve that because it's basically hitting itself when it's revolving, and it's not realistic and it doesn't work. So there are still some constraints to help with. So yeah, that's what you should come up with. And if you guys want to edit your sketch, try adding more spline points, change up the dimension, see what you can make. That's fine too. Yeah. Skip. Yeah, skip this. Oh, wait. Were you able to revolve it? Cool. Let's make sure everyone was able to revolve something.
Is anyone able not to revolve?
Yeah.
Let us know, yeah.
Can anyone not revolve something?
Okay. And you can modify how much you want to revolve as well. It doesn't have to be 360 degrees, maybe just half of it, it's 270, whatever.
Go. Good.
It's a ball. What's this line?
Add a shadow.
I'm not sure. How do you add extra points to this point?
You.
It's like a right click.
There is a way. Yeah, insert one.
Yeah.
See how okay, let's move on.
Cool. So the next tool we're going to learn is something called sweep. So again, save the file, next design. And I'll jump right in. So sweep allows us to use a path and a 3D profile, and it basically finishes it and it runs it along the path and it'll complete the 3D object. So we'll jump right in. Best way to learn it is to just do it. So to recreate this, we're gonna make a paperclip, very simple. So everyone's on a new design. So sketch this out, and you can have a look at the top right image. You can see that you got to do two different planes. So you got to do XY plane, and then the ZX plane.
So firstly, draw the outline of the paperclip, and then later on, draw the circle that is the actual paperclip. Deal with the paperclip first.
So this will be this will give the line thickness. So that's how it works.
I've got some paperclips here, actually. Interactive exercise.
Yeah, but one class, one upward.
Which application?
No, so the black
Yeah,
one
that looks
is on here. And then now we're gonna draw a circle on this.
Clips.
Yay.
Right, that's good, Dave.
One day.
No, they can't.
And this circle.
And actually,
And you wanna start everything on the origin, that way the computer knows where to start the sweep as well. So it's all connected, or else it might not be
This way person's making the line, so we're not really into this.
so the circle that we're referring to here, if you take a look at your paperclip, is the cross section of the actual paperclip. Yeah, like this.
Make sure you start both your sketches on the origin point, or else if it doesn't intersect, the computer can't sweep it.
Yeah.
Can I go to semi-circle?
Yeah, you can. It's
Or you make a circle. And then just delete the other two.
Oh, that's pretty well. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am realizing that, so circle maybe?
What
Oh,
is-
wait, can I?
What is the problem with that?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't standardize the arc.
Who is
That didn't help. Oh, I see.
So everyone create the left sketch first, basically. Do the left sketch on the XY plane.
Oh, okay.
And the starting point should be on the origin.
Yeah.
I'll give it you if you wanted it like.
How do I create semicircle?
Yeah.
I'm just cutting the whole line. If you wanted to do semicircle, just cut it in half.
Yeah.
Last time I put a line in the middle.
Yeah, so just.
So kind of line, and those split the two sections, yeah.
So that's a second point. So
Also, instead of using circles, you can just use the semicircle. There's like an arc command. There's an arc command in the sketch, so just like that. 3-point arcs and I don't know, different arc tools.
You can either arc or circle and then put a line and then trim the other
Yeah.
half. So,
Whichever is easier.
try the arc.
I have to be trying to.
Yeah.
I think we've got these options. It's a unit, it's small. Oh, shit.
No, let me do the other one.
Ray, you make this. Not make this.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Make a sketch on the next one. She did this in the front as well. Yeah, do this on flat. Normally I don't create sketches like this because it's so hard to see. And then also, you want to spend the origin. Most of the time, we're going to do sketches. So now it's like very hard. I like that. So now,
So you know the start here.
Yeah.
So you can put it outside.
Oh,
You can, but you put this point.
okay.
That's.
Yeah.
oh, you're doing inside out.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, wait.
That's a dimension. These are dimensions. This is just playing with stuff.
Also take note of the constraints here, the tangent constraints. Horizontal. Yeah. Oh, vertical. Good. And vertical constraints for the paper plane as well.
I'm actually all right without it. Yeah.
Not that, I wanna make, I'll go on. I don't know, it's wrong. 5.5. I don't do that.
So wait, which where you up to?
So we've got this, and all of them do.
Wait, did you start at the origin?
Outside of, like,
Oh, you use the origin as your.
like this, and I want to just go right.
That's gonna be a problem because when you create the, actually, it's fine, I'll fix it later, but.
I just want to spin it all, I'll spin it all right now.
Yeah, try and start at the origin.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Thing. It's really easier. Yeah, I think you could, maybe you can just move it.
Oh, really?
Just move the line. All the line. Oh, never mind. It's page, right? Okay. So just keep going from here. Let me see what you're up to. Okay.
I'll set it plus 350 bucks.
Nah.
Cause I wanna make the obvious, cause before was easy, yeah, before was easy, but right now, I'm just using 7 point.
Okay, the problem with this is that, actually, like, it needs to be known.
Is that what those were like?
Why can't you make it 5.5? Just make it 5.5, so,
And then.
Let's go.
or
I'm gonna be like less. But it is.
yeah, so don't make it in the center then. Make it. Off the left first, and then do 5.5 and leave it that's fine.
Yeah. So just get rid of that, make this not fun, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh, and then.
No, not yet. It's blue, so.
That's okay.
When does it become?
Black is when you combine it.
Sometimes. Right, okay.
Oh, yeah. And then
that.
the natural fields
So
are
that's just some-
on the origin. Yeah.
Yeah, just finish it.
So go back to. So we can another. So next the other circle profile, but let's try and do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So profile is gonna be like this, yeah, profile, and a path is gonna be the reference, make it line, so try.
Oh, that's fine. Then just press, simple on.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's not. Because.
Let's say.
Go back to the section.
And then trim the bottom half.
Yeah, good, we had it.
How do you create it?
Mine was.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know if it looks right.
Yeah, no, you made some big of a part.
I missed a piece of, oh, where's my skin? Yeah.
What's that part, yep. And then, do you know how to sleep?
I'll finish the.
Yeah.
Now that I mentioned everything. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm sorry, do you know how to sleep? Oh, it's really. Oh, you read that.
Yeah, double check here. Yeah, I got, so you can edit back your, the track sketch, whichever sketch was the circle. You edit it.
It looks like your chambers, yeah.
So you can edit it, so you have yours. Oh, did you point zero? That's so big.
I mean, we're revolving.
Yeah, so.
No, I understand it's not a different axis.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very
Yeah,
good.
you can list that.
I believe.
So I can.
I think I'm supposed
Yeah,
to.
I'm the origin. Yeah, the origin. Yeah. my host. Yeah, that. That's the origin.
Yeah. I'm not.
Yep. You need to define this. Really small.
Yeah. Yes, that's your plan.
Oh, wait, have you
They're
done
not on
one
the same
circle?
sketch. Wait, no, is one of them circle to circle?
Okay, yeah.
I did this
Okay.
lot.
Oh, and then you got rid of it and then you went, you made a new sketch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you probably need to go back and.
And then we're going to zoom into.
Actually, it might just work, just
Yeah.
try to. You can just.
I think I know where it is.
Just work.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. And now around the origins, do a circle. That's 0.75 is diameter. So don't worry, as soon as you click sketch, you'll get to choose a color.
Yeah, or if you click finish sketch, you can always jump back. Yeah.
Sketch.
Yeah.
And select. Select the.
As I mentioned, and it's still.
And then. And then in the very center, draw a circle. 0.75 centimeters.
The profile is the.
And then now.
You ever seen about it?
Yes, we did. Oh, nice. Then obviously you can choose like which this to go.
Sweet.
And the taper angle is basically
And then your profile is.
so you can try to change it around and see what's doing anything.
And your profile is.
So you need a.
Turn it so you can see it from the top.
Write a sketch.
Yeah.
There's something like this.
Wait, I'm not.
Yeah. So the profile, right? You draw, this is why we need to start. With benefit, right? The profile, it's not connected to the other line.
No,
There's no,
because
it doesn't.
you started.
Yeah, you basically need to start the circle on that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's so.
Oh, wait.
It's this point of lock.
Not sure.
And then you start.
No, so you're basically just gonna have a circle.
Like a whole section
Yeah.
there. That's fine.
So you don't want to move
Yeah, add two more lines.
Okay, then move.
Cool. Single one, very good.
You wanna use the coincidence? It snaps 2 points together.
Are you going to finish?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you see how this goes. I like to try sweep it.
And now go to sketch.
I want you to.
And then profile is like a circle, but it has to be on the front, so I recommend going to up here.
That's good.
So which side is the
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah, you can try to change the, yeah, distance, do you see what happens? So it's between 0 and
So
1.
now change.
Because 1 is in the degree. So the distance you choose to tweak, it's between 0 and 1.
So now you're.
Because 1 means the whole.
Oh, okay,
the whole transit.
I was
So just the percentage of the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just not like millimeters or anything.
So that's like 75. And then I finish sketch.
But it's.
And then go back to undo.
Oh, it's just that one. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh my God.
What's this?
Oh, I'm trying to. Wait.
Yeah, it's single pressure.
It'll start off.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that's what we done.
No, I want to move it to the left.
Yeah, so if you follow this.
I wonder for which one. Oh, this is not Lego ball. Yeah, we put on that one. Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
I know how to do it, it's not yours, doesn't it? It's just, you know, it's skill mate.
No exercise, skip this, I think. Go back. Alright, last little bit is loft is another tool we're gonna use. So loft basically creates it joins two profiles together. But it's actually very kind of like difficult to use well, because you need to give it a lot of parameters to know how to join the two profiles. So, for example, this is an example of using a guide rail. So if you see, I've selected two profiles, but it's not how I wanted it to be made. What I needed to do was create a guide rail so that the profiles are shaped in the way that I choose. Yeah, so it's a little bit difficult. And again, shapes need to be geometrically realistic. For example, when I pull the spline point that way, it's not realistic. It's going to cut in on itself, and the computer will give me a warning that it just won't work. And you can also cut using the loft command, and you can also do that with sweep as well, actually. So yeah. Cool. So let's just try and create two different shapes on the X and Y plane. So create a shape on the X, Y, and then offset it, and then create another shape, and then just loft it, and then see what happens. So make a new design.
Yeah, so see if you can make a circus tent where this is, yeah, just like, don't use 50 meters obviously, but just use like millimeters or something.
Yeah.
Like a mini tent.
Yeah.
So you need a bottom circle, which is 50 millimeters in diameter, and then a top ellipse, which is 5x10 on the short and long axes.
It connects two profiles. Two profiles of different shape.
What was the?
Like a sketch, like a sketch, two sketches. Okay, sure.
Oh, wait, so this make it like one and then two, yeah?
It's like that. Do you have the bottom? It's like that. It's a small, and the top end is a big one.
Oh, you mean the one?
Yeah. So I've made two sketches, one on this plane and then one on the top. So and it just connects it. It connects to that. Oh, that's what the lock is. And the cross section is. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'll be like organic.
The height, the way it's supposed to be, the height is 10 to
Yeah, let's do 15 millimeters of height. So offset the next plane by 15 millimeters.
Because I has to hover above it.
And the 10 is 15
I
millimeters.
realized that this is what.
And then I
suggest.
The bottom circle.
No, you don't
The,
need- the law is creating two different sketch profiles of different in size. Yeah.
Are we
like
showing
the computer does. The computer does that.
Yeah, so we're learning a new function, it's like that it connects to. So you need to create a new plane and create a different shape on the top plane.
Yeah, you can do any shape really.
how high above?
15 millimeters.
Yeah. So the next step to get that shape is you add a guide rail.
Yeah.
So you want to add so you can sketch on like any of it and then just add like the side.
Yeah, just very clear.
Yeah, and then the computer will do that. Well, the problem with that is like you only add the guide rail one side, so the other side won't actually be. So it's kind of weird. You gotta- Yeah.
That's fine.
Or like technically you're gonna do it infinitely all the way around. That's why loft is kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Right now, you rate other. Yeah, make another circle. Yeah, all three profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to it. What you just did. Yeah, no. I constructed it, right? Yeah.
15 now.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's how you do it.
So remember how to.
So offset plane just means that you have this initial plane, there's the origin, original plane, and you want to do something on top of that, which is you need to do some offset.
Yeah, control.
Because it doesn't know, you know, like it doesn't know where you want to operate. Yeah. How do I offset that? Oh, okay. Oh, so you have to project, yeah. So it's like, just think about projection, not like a project with the other line, you project.
And now what?
Alright.
I don't do
So project SP. Like a circle.
So, okay. And then you click the bottom one, click the top one.
But you don't need to project anywhere in this case, because we're not using a circle.
Are we using?
Yeah, we're using ellipse.
Is that one of those like Japanese hats and Chinese now?
Good question.
You know what I'm saying? You're not there? No.
Cambodia, I think, I feel like it's multi,
Yeah,
I promise you,
go on, mate.
it's not.
Look at that.
Yes.
Amazon.com. Which.com. Linkchat.com.
Okay, so if you want something more advanced, instead of an ellipse, try something different. Okay, so someone made a laugh art, for example, it's like the tent.
And you notice like later on, the selection of profiles really matters. You can't go one.
So you're not projecting, right?
You gotta do it one way. Yeah. Yeah, also go.
You're moving.
Or sometimes if you draw correctly, it'll look good.
It is, bro. It does something to it. I don't
You know how to like
know.
do something.
It's very powerful.
It's very powerful.
No, don't touch that Lego move.
Like that smaller circle.
But look at this.
The circle.
You made a track.
Okay, can you move it? I don't think you can.
You gotta like,
Sorry, I pressed.
Yeah, so you're on
Yeah.
the track there.
and then you gotta put it different, you know?
That's it, okay.
It's very big object, give it big object.
Yeah.
So you can do it.
Yeah.
And
Just go back.
I've tried on fixing it, connected to, okay, fine, together.
Yeah. That's a sort of job.
Yeah, that's good, right?
I don't know what that is. Yeah, so you can add a third layer as well, if you'd like to explore and create like a, like, you know, a third layer loft.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, just.
I think it's just huge.
There is zero geometries on this.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, okay.
You will pay off.
No, not yet. Okay, good. Here we go. Do you need any help? Yes, what's the one? Okay, so start a new one, save this, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got there in the end though, it looks good. It looks as good as a paper clip can, you know?
Yeah. Just go back.
Create
Go back.
It does.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, these ones are.
So I think talk it through and then see if you, maybe you can work on this one. Yeah. Do you wanna work on one of these?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, and then you want to listen.
Yeah, so there goes.
How do I know that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and now, finish it. And now create a plane above it. 15 mils.
Yeah, one glass? One glass?
Let's do one part.
How? Oh, move slash copy into function.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've done, so that you don't really like all
I
like
know,
things
I'm
that
a
is wide
woman.
and hard. This is one that's really hard.
You got a plan? Yeah, and now on that track, or a different track.
Oh, yeah, oh, actually, should we get let's use the calendar? Yeah, this calendar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that-
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And then click the blue, your new plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then draw your.
And they can play with the calendar.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, we got some time.
Okay, and now create. Loft function.
What thirty?
And just click on your third.
Okay, yeah, correct.
Yeah, no. Oh, I didn't make it. Avocado, how do you move the shape? I know it's possible. So if I want to move this circle, we'll just move it.
I mean, it's fine, so it's actually.
No, but how do I move it? Like that. Oh, is that easy?
Shot us on the diagram, so we're good. You know?
Thank you both.
Alright.
Yeah, okay, let's move on from lofts. So basically now it's gonna be sort of free design time, but before that, we're gonna just. Again, just a quick talk through of how you make these sort of objects. So how would you design something like this?
So yeah, so an important skill obviously is learning or thinking how to design it. It can make your life really difficult if you design it poorly or you take the wrong approach.
Yeah.
So you gotta really practice like thinking, you know, how to actually approach this in the laziest or easiest way possible. Because the sort of engineer's way.
Yeah. Same concept with the Lego brick. If you do it systematically, it becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
So. How would you create this? Just talking to Bruce. Stuff.
Just. It's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm finding the. Okay, yeah.
And you have the measures.
Yeah.
Right there.
Or you can just split two components. And then just do both as flat.
Actually, this is two components.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I-
And it's just extrude.
But we didn't extrude. Why would you need? You're gonna make the entire one. Yeah.
Obviously not from this.
So this, you probably split it into two components.
That's what I did.
And just flatten both.
See the picture.
Cool, next thing, what about a stethoscope head?
Okay, so wait, so before we move on though,
Sorry.
so yeah, important thing about that is just two components, yeah, just look at the actual components, it's not a single component that you're putting out, right? So just be aware that this is two components if you place them together, yeah? Alright, yeah.
Stethoscope? How would you go about this? What would be the easiest way? Yeah, revolve, obviously, cut that into a revolve function. And then, what about the insert? How would you make
You
this?
can also make a revolve with the insert and then just attach. it
Exactly, you just revolve it, you're just gonna make your own axis through this way, you just make an axis this way, right? And then that's another revolve function.
Does anyone know how to actually make this for real? How would you make this for real, using metal? So we were talking about a lathe machine before, which is the machine that keeps on rotating like this, and then you cut out pieces like that, right? So that's how you use it. You use a lathe on one axis and then a lathe on the other axis. Okay, so it's that. Cool.
And what about the tubing and the earpiece? How do we make those?
Sweet, yep, good.
Sweet, yep,
Sweet.
sweet. Anything, any other interesting way?
Yeah, what about the earpiece? How do you make the earpiece?
Yeah, you can probably cut
Yeah,
it
you
out.
could revolve, yep. You can also, we don't teach it as much, but you can also make a surface and then actually form it. You just use the hands like that.
Like a sculpting?
Yeah, it's like sculpting. Yeah, anyway, that's another show.
How'd you make this?
Yeah, you could just use mirror. But for that, you just make one half, extrude mirror.
Yeah.
Or mirrors.
Yeah, I would do that.
And then.
Cool. What about
And
syringe? How do we make this?
No, most of it. And then extrude comes with a flat cut.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
How would you really manufacture this? Injection molding. Okay, so we talked before about making plastics at scale very cheaply. You have to use injection molding for something like this.
Cool, that's pretty much all the
Okay,
practices.
so now we have sort of some design time for you to practice. So we bought some chess pieces, right? And so depending on how complex it is, and this design challenge actually is real world, so you need to use calipers to measure it out yourself, so you don't get a strict sort of like nice drawing for you to use anymore. Okay, so this is actually reflective of what you need to do in the real world. Once you work at the companies, they can just give you an object and they're like, good luck, right? Like make it on CAD. And it's up to you to make it. They're not going to give you any nice designs or anything, right? So, depending on how hard you want, there's, for example, like a pawn, which is, for example, a potentially easy object of sort of a revolution, right? But then there's also things like a bishop, which is a little bit harder. Okay, there's also things like queen. We also have a rook. And if you really want to challenge, then go for the knight. Okay, the knight is particularly challenging to do. And if you want something that's non-chess related, we also have a dial, like a button dial. So you can also do that as well. So feel free to do that. We have a bunch of calipers here. So feel free to sort of work in teams or something to work on this.
And also, if you haven't finished the Lego brick and you want to keep trying it, you guys can do that too. I'll put it back outside. Basically, free design time on whichever activity you want to try. Or practice.
So these are called calipers, in case you don't know what they are, because I realize a lot of you might not know. We have the digital calipers and also analog calipers as well. So just learn how to use these. These are very useful tools just to know how to use.
Figure out how to do something.
We wanna do nine?
Well, we did.
I don't even think you need a color.
It's not that, it's just, I've used some horrible interfaces, this one's so easy, like, it says sweep, and what does it do? It sweeps. Okay, like the other ones will be like, click up, it's like, rotate.
Yeah. You can also try that as well if you like. We have a picture of it.
What is bad? Like from the distance, I thought it
Yeah,
Definitely not a difficult.
Yeah, if anyone wants to try and cut this instead, anyway, I tried some of the best stuff. The dial is the stuff that we challenge
I need to print it tomorrow.
It's so easy.